Hello everyone, welcome back to another exciting installment of Dead Air. Episode 3, 3 fingers on one hand if you were an overgrown sloth. Blank, hello.
Hello, I am an overgrown sloth. I have grown too large for my containment facility.
That's what I was going
That's how I got out, actually. I got too big.
Out.
Yeah. I squeezed the glass so hard.
They have the bones of I can't remember what they're called, like the technical name, but the big sloths that roam the earth. Yeah, the really big ones before they became normal
Maximus.
sloth. Might be close to actually. Hang on. Before we get into things, what was the name of the big sloths dinosaur times?
Oh no, I was really off.
Oh, Megatherium americanum.
Yeah, I think you say Americanum. That sounds nicer.
Americanum.
Yeah, there you go. That's good.
Right,
Megatherium's kind of a crazy name, though, for a sloth.
Probably, actually.
I don't think it deserves that name.
Similar to a present-day bull elephant.
Dude, I'm looking at it now. It's massive.
Yeah. Up to 10 times the size of living sloths, reaching weights of up to 4 tons.
Listen to this, though. YouTube channel, Animalogic, YouTube title. When sloths were 20 feet tall. Wow. That's
20?
That's 20. That's like
this says they only grew to 12 feet tall. Where are the 20 feet tall ones?
I don't know. Maybe it's like 12 feet tall, like on its 4 legs. This one's kind of stood up.
Oh, hang on.
It's like
I've just found something here. The Sloth Sanctuary of Costa Rica.
They have one.
By the way, you can go to sloth tours. They're closed on Mondays and Christmas Day, but otherwise they're open 8 a.m. till 2 p.m. That's not a very big window.
No, maybe the sloths don't come out after that time though.
Maybe not, but they have a statue. They have a life-size statue of Salvador.
The Megatherium americanum.
Yeah, he's like a named mob. He must be like an elite.
The name means great beast from America. That's cool.
That's pretty sick. We've actually got a great piece from America coming up later on the show. We've got one of them in.
We do. We've got a great piece from America to join us. It's crazy.
That's wild. That's kind of worked out perfectly. Right. Yeah. Well, there you go. Then that was your that's your intro to Dead Air, episode 3. You're in the gym, aren't you? You're listening. You tuned in on your phone with YouTube Red. You've had to play for premium. They can't listen on Spotify yet because Yoshi will ban us.
Yeah, well. Like immediately, he'll do a verge on us.
They'll come round. Right, but did you see that?
I did.
That article.
Yeah,
I can't believe that. Like, you've literally seen the best bit, by the way, that blew my mind, dude, is like the 600 IQ of the guy when the homie's writing about it, and he said, "So I've opened the game, and this box popped up, and the box said you're not allowed to talk about the game, but I didn't click OK." I pressed escape and it went away. And it's just like, oh, dude, fuck, you've owned it. You've actually owned it.
Escape is like such a good function. Like he's not only escaped the box, he's escaped any kind of legal indictment coming across from that as well. I'm going to escape.
You're going to court.
Yeah, no, I've escaped. I've escaped.
Mate, it's mad. Like, don't give a prisoner a keyboard. It'd be a nightmare.
Yeah. You know? Actually, I think that, I can't remember what it was in the article. It was like saying that, they didn't like me playing with my friends, and that's why he got banned. No.
He was saying he really wants to try it with his friends. I think he was like basically saying the game's mediocre in his opinion, which is wrong. And he was saying, I might try it with friends though, maybe it'll be better. And then he got banned, of course, for breaking the NDA. And his update was Valve won't let me play with my friends.
Yeah, he deserved it. Big time.
I got unlucky.
Yeah, it was a crazy move this week. That was probably some of the crazy moves that happened.
Yeah, kind of weird. Like
weird
next level weird champ journalism. On that one.
Big time. It was so strange. I didn't like
it. Should we burn our bridge with Valve software forever? Yeah, let's do it.
Dude, the best part, you didn't even get to experience this update, which is mega. Yeah. We'll talk about it later. Megatherium later.
Ooh, there you go. It sounds a lot like Ethereum as well, though. Which it's like a cryptocurrency, but
crypto sloth.
A sloth on the blockchain, but it's just bamboo.
It's got little cyber glasses on.
Could you imagine that? Future sloth.
That could be the new character in Deadlock.
Oh, mate, future sloth. It's a sloth from the past who's come
Mate.
back to the future.
Yeah, imagine his zipline, a move. He could be like a stand-in from Neon Prime. That's where he's come from.
He could run on top of the zip line on all fours.
I was thinking like, you know, he's got his little hand like gripping on the side rail, and then like his little belly's up in the air. He maybe eating a banana or something. I don't know, something like that.
God, S'more is replicating these moves. There's probably a loud bang on the recording. He's just like ricocheted himself off of the.
He's used ricochet, has he?
Yeah,
it didn't work out well for me last time, actually.
No.
Well, actually, it did. Ricochet was probably the best item I chose. The rest was poo.
It can happen.
Yeah.
It can happen. Well, it's coming down now. We have it's like one of those things you put above the cooking area. I'm blanking on the word, but he's doing some parkour off it. You had enough of you?
Ooh, it's like the fan. I know what you're trying to say.
Yeah, the big fan. You know, silver fan.
The big fan. No one knows what it's called in the kitchen, but it exists.
You know, like everyone's got one. Well, most people have one.
What is that called?
Is it an induction? No.
Megatherium fan.
Fanosaurus.
Fanosaurus. Yeah. Fan above oven.
Extractor fan. It's got to be extractor fan.
Yeah, it's extractor fan.
There we go.
Yeah.
Boom.
I got the Absol ASCH6013SS on my screen right now. Looks very nice.
Christ. That sounds good.
Yeah. Stainless steel, bro. Can't touch it.
No, we probably wouldn't want to. It'd leave fingerprints.
Yeah, probably.
Isn't that funny that stainless steel stains?
Yeah, it's kind of annoying, isn't it? It's like false advertisement. Don't like it.
Yeah. It's also how like non-stick pans, technically, I mean, like, you know, if you use them right, they do not stick, but they can stick.
Yeah, they can stick. Yeah.
Which I feel like isn't really real. It's also like, do you ever have, when you were a kid, you get those rulers and they say shatterproof, and everyone would smash them as hard as they could until they broke.
Yeah.
But obviously shatter just means like it won't fragment into hundreds of pieces and blind you.
That did happen.
Yeah. You got blinded by a shatterproof ruler?
No, I'm just saying it used to happen.
Oh, no, it can happen.
Yeah, not by a shatterproof one, though. That's the whole reason they made it.
No, exactly. You would be protected. Your eyes would be safe. You wouldn't need to wear a helmet when operating that ruler.
If you went crazy on a wooden one, though, splinters for days.
In the fingers.
Bad time.
In the eyes.
We've derailed big time. Yeah.
Like a shatterproof conversation.
Yeah.
We've fragmented.
We've fragmented everywhere. We've not splintered, but we have fragmented a little bit. Just a touch. It's to warm you up. We're warming you up right now.
We're preheating the oven.
We're greasing you up.
Yeah.
For what's to come.
Later on in the show.
Yeah.
Maybe now.
Maybe now's a good time.
We've got our handlers out back. For the American viewers out there, I'm trying to think of what like the equivalent would be, but you know, like Jeremy Kyle, where you've got like the bouncer holding back, like, you know, the guest. They're not letting Phil. Him in yet. Yeah, maybe
the Dr. Phil moment. Yeah,
we've got like Dr. Phil's, you know, protector, some sort of big bouncer man standing out back, holding in the guest. We're going to give him the wave. Okay, they're bringing him through.
Bring him in. Yeah.
Bring on the guest.
Guest has arrived on scene.
Hello.
Hello.
So why can't you fix your relationship with your strange brother?
I didn't even get to introduce myself yet.
Well, you're on Dr. Phil.
You're on Dr. Phil now.
You've got to let us know.
So at first it was dinosaur talk, then it was something else.
The dinosaur talk did it. Is that why your brothers went away?
I just couldn't believe the American Beast stuff. I was just laughing so hard. I was like, oh, this is convenient. But hi, everyone. Yes. I am the American host, I guess.
There you go. You've been boiled down to the bare necessities. But
please,
yes, everyone.
Tell everyone your name.
Damp.
Yeah, welcome, Damp.
Well, thank you for that. My name is Damp, correct. And you can also call me Daisy, Powers, Damp. I go by Damp typically, but it depends on what you want. Otherwise, I am the third host of Dead Air, and I'm excited to say hello to the people. Wow.
Wow, you
me
out there.
Oh, no, not me.
Them.
They.
You, they.
Oh, chilling.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, lovely.
You did Deadlock news recently. That was really good. I enjoyed it. You know, very cool.
Okay, I'm gonna quickly do like the plug of like, this is who I am, this is what I do. So, guys, as the third host on the channel, I am not these two main guys. They will still be doing most of the talking. They're going to be doing this podcast, patch notice, etc., build guides, all the stuff. But I am going to do Deadlock news, right? So if something happens, we'll have a hub to talk about it now. I'm also going to be doing drawing content. For those who didn't know, I am the artist behind a lot of the branding on the channel. I created a lot of the logos, anything that you see art-wise, I've created it. So I think some art content would be really fun, like drawing people's ideas and bringing them to life, stuff like that. I'm also most excited about the player interviews, but we'll get to that later. For now, we can focus on Deadlock news.
Yes, it's been good. I mean, there's been a lot of news to be had, and obviously, if you don't want to join us here for our 2-hour ramblings, I mean, we've already talked about great sloths from the bygone times. If you want to skip that straight to the news, you can have the Deadlock news. It's very, to be fair, Deadlock news is really nice, very well put together.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, Damp's a crazy host. She does well, so it's a great place. Short and sweet. We like it.
No, it is nice. I think it's very different to a lot of the stuff we have been doing on this channel as well, because obviously most of it's kind of long form, or at the very least medium, medium sized, like even when we try and slim it down.
We try. Yeah.
Which is good. I'll be here for the short span attention people who just want to know what's going on. I'll just do filler content here and there, maybe some side content, road content, all the content, extra content.
Yeah. Damp on the road. We've arranged a tour bus. We've actually
take her out. Yeah.
We've paid 2,500 Great British pounds to rent a bus. And we're going to drive Damp all the way to Gamescom, just in case.
It's
just
true.
in case they mention Deadlock at Gamescom. We're sending her.
We send her out there. That's what we're doing.
I'll be there. I will be there. And if anything happens, I will be there, and we will have that footage. That'll be cool.
Yeah, it would be cool. I mean, to be fair, Jacky was saying that it might happen. What was it? Was it Dota that was released?
I think
there?
so. I think it was Dota.
Give us your theory, Jack.
At the very least, they held one of the super early TIs or the TI qualifiers there. Because I remember this was like 2011, 2012. And they had like TI when it was still relatively small.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Valve have always liked Gamescom. From my memory of like going to Gamescom years ago quite regularly. The only reason why I feel like they haven't really been there in later years, because obviously they haven't really been releasing games anywhere near as often over the past, like, sort of 10 years. And even the new games they have released, it's not really the same, right? Like Half-Life Alyx was COVID. Yeah, CS2 was
wasn't even a new game.
It was an update. Like, the engine swap. Really.
So it didn't need an announcement.
No. But Deadlock is new.
Deadlock is new.
Deadlock is new.
Maybe not improved over CS. It's a different game entirely, really, isn't it?
Oh, it's a completely different game.
It's new, different flavour.
I would argue that it is the evolution of MOBA. That's how I've been phrasing it when I want to see cool.
Okay, I like it.
I think it is,
you're not wrong.
It's
you're not wrong, for real.
Because obviously MOBA is just point and click, top down. There's more to it than that.
No, this is sick.
It down. But Deadlock feels like it is the evolution of MOBA. You've taken it to the next step. It's like Paint 3D.
Yeah. I like how Valve's... you've got all these mobile games coming out. Trying to emulate what League and Dota have done. Yeah. And then Valve's like, what about the fourth lane though?
Right?
Send everyone crazy. Like, what is that? It's wild. I don't understand
it. Playing this game makes you excited. It feels like it's the future. It's really cool. I'm really happy to be a part of it.
Yeah. I think like what's it even?
It's 3 people's too many cooks.
It's just funny to me as well, because I think the one that fell over, still kicking off. Yeah, the one that always makes me giggle is because I've seen people that say like, "Oh, it's just Smite," and I'm always like, "What? Like, what are you on about? Like, what universe are you living in? Like, it's Smite is kind of like running a straight line, limited camera span.
Yeah,
you can go wherever you want. Homie.
This is its own thing.
Whole map's open. It's an entirely different video game.
Yeah. I mean, they've done a lot. Even this last patch, they did a huge amount. It's been very cool. But if you want to keep up to date with all that stuff when it happens, and you don't want to listen to us again rambling, you can check out Deadlock News and all the other content that I'm sure Damp's going to be throwing out pretty soon.
Well, I'll be producing content. It'll be really cool. We can either hear from me, from Jack, or from Blink, or all 3 of us. Who knows? But we'll all be producing stuff. I know, isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Smart.
Yeah.
But I think that the thing I'm most excited about is you doing the hero designs. That sounds really fun, actually.
I've already started on that. There's some really cool ideas people have, and it's really fun just like imagining like, okay, what would these people's power would look like? And I kind of even want to present them to you, like the drawings, and have you guys comment on them. And I also maybe want to draw some of your ideas. That'd be really cool.
Oh, okay. Maybe. I can try come up with something. Might be anime inspired.
I can try.
A bit wild.
As if you haven't thought about it.
Oh, I could. Oh, maybe. Let me delete this forum post real quick.
It was you on your alt, wasn't it? Dude?
Yeah.
What about the idol?
You on your 10 alt.
Yeah, that's right. I've been trying to get a item, named after one of my alts this whole time. I'm unsuccessful so far, which is fair enough. A magic carpet is kind of better, to be fair.
It's fair. Yeah, it is fair. Shout out magic carpet one time.
Right.
Oh, shout out magic carpet too.
Jack.
Yeah.
I have a question for you.
Okay.
I hear you have something prepared for us, right?
It's true. Yeah, I have it on hand.
Go on, tell me about it. I'm curious.
I see you're proffering me for the bit.
Well,
What is
I've
it?
been waiting. For
Okay.
He's like,
There's
it's a
a bit.
secret. You don't get to know till you're on
There's
the
a
podcast.
bit, yeah.
Now
I've had a bit
I'm waiting.
already.
I think
want
I
the bit. Give me the
remember
bit.
hearing about the
Give me
bit,
the
but
bit.
I forgot about the bit.
It's a good bit. It's a good bit.
Okay, give us the bit.
Yeah. Firstly,
Alright.
shout out to Lamorite 2 times. The genius himself that put this together about a week back. So I'm going to be using this because I don't think anyone else saw it. It was like me and him and a few other people in the Deadlock global chat just kind of giggling about it. So yeah, I'm going to share my screen with you.
Okay.
So you can all see what I'm putting forward.
I have to edit this in.
Yeah, I can send you the image.
Thanks.
All right. So here's what we've got.
All right.
For the viewers at home, I imagine it's probably on screen now. Or if not, let me describe it to you. What we've got here is the Life Force category of the item menu in the Curiosity
Right.
shop. I believe, from what I remember, this was put through Google Translate 5 times. And this is what it spat back out. And there's some pretty good ones. There's actually some pretty good ones on here.
I've seen a good one really quite well already.
You've got such classics as
To get better.
yeah, which
So good.
which is really it's pretty accurate of an item. Like if you got that one, you'd be happy. The old to get better.
To get better.
Yeah. Soul theft.
Soul
is another
Theft,
one that I
yeah.
thought was pretty good. However, I think my personal favourite is weight loss product.
Oh, that is debuff producer. I don't know about this. I say like weight is a debuff. I guess it is technically a little bit of a debuff.
Yeah.
You look at it that way.
That creased me when I saw that. Was
Weight
the
loss
idea of like
product.
weight loss product. Also, this one is really, it's quite forward thinking. Sustainable development.
Actually,
Like,
true.
Fortitude.
Yeah.
Yeah. A great leap forward.
I like that one. I love a great leap forward.
It's so good.
I'll try to think.
So
I'll try to see if
funny.
I can find any other good ones.
Oh, mate.
I like
Also-
that Sprint Boost just survived.
Yeah, it just made it through.
Yeah.
So it gets better. It gets
Okay,
better. I
okay.
saved the best one
To be
till
fair.
last.
No, this is great.
I saved the
Okay.
best one till last.
To
But
get better.
here we go.
Ooh.
Okay, so we've
Ooh.
also got the soul category.
Teapot.
Here you have
Additional fees.
additional fees, which is pretty good. I also like this one as well. Mystical access.
Improved
Like-
access.
Mystical labs.
That's a good one.
Oh, mate. This one is my favourite, hands down, though.
Bulletproof
Bulletproof
paper
paper shredder.
shredder.
Like, could you imagine that as an item?
Bulletproof
Oh, hang on.
paper shredder.
He's
Just
got
whips
the
out the paper
bulletproof paper shredder.
Shoot
It's
him!
not
Oh,
right.
come on!
Echo track, bro.
Echo track. What else have we
Oh,
got? Glyph of how has Glyph of Silence survived?
She's made it for
Silence-
True, right?
Silence Glyph's done
yeah.
pretty good there. I mean, it has like it's had a little flip flop, but still
You
the same
still,
thing.
it knows what it wants to be.
Tear down,
Tear down.
strong, very
Tear
strong.
down.
Tear down.
I like tear down.
Permanent expansion.
Growing exposure.
Oh, mate. Also, me when it's hot in the summer.
Improved
Improved cooling.
Yeah, pull out the AC.
Oppressor.
Wait. Oppressor. Oppressor.
Oppressor.
Suppressor did not like that one.
There is
Teapot.
also just teapot.
I know, teapot. That was the
Teapot.
first one I saw.
I've only just seen teapot.
Okay.
These
now,
are good. Like, I feel like we should take some of these on board.
Mate, there's some banging items in
Is
it.
the,
This
the
one-
weapon category pretty good?
This had my favourites, hands
Yeah.
down.
Okay.
So here we are in weapon.
No, not Tesla bullets.
Slow down the
Not
bullets.
Tesla bullets.
Look. Firstly,
Quick visit.
that one fucking boggles me. Just quick visits.
Slow
Quick
down the bullets is
visit.
so good.
Up close.
Quick
Up close.
visits.
There was a fire.
Oh, mate,
anger.
it's so good.
There was a fire.
Scroll down, please. The ball.
Wait, there's one just named clearly.
But look,
Clearly.
bit balls.
Oh, these are way too good. I didn't expect it to get much better, but it got
Silent.
so much better.
I told you, weapons is really where it peaks.
Oh my god,
Silent.
clearly.
I'm sweating.
Oh, mate.
Sweating.
They're so good. Also, just anger.
I know, anger's a strong one.
Anger.
What else have we got?
Wait, I didn't even notice. What a point neighbour.
Up close. I think, yeah, there was a fire. Probably
There was a
top.
fire is a good one.
That's
There
the
was
top
a
one for
Also,
me.
I think the other one I like is
Oh.
alchemal fire. Alchemal fire.
That's.
Don't
I think
remember
that's
I
just
think that's
normal.
spelled normal.
Is
yeah.
it?
That was
Okay.
normal.
That's me being
yeah.
a noob then.
You've been dyslexic.
You've been-
I
yeah,
have.
that's unfortunate.
This alchemical Kaya.
It's alchemal fire.
Yeah, please bring back alchemical burger. That's what I really want. Fast forward. Go fast forward.
Fast forward. What are we saying?
Fast forward.
This podcast is
That's
so
a good-
weird.
I do still think that. I think silent is an underrated one.
Silent.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not bad. It's not bad. I
Jump.
think weight loss product.
Wait, Lost Product is up there. for
Wait,
sure.
how is Ricochet just jump?
It does look like a little jumping guy.
Glass Cannon survived
I wonder if the
somehow.
translator took that into consideration.
Like, studied the picture and knew.
Yeah, it was like that looks like a
Jump.
jump to me. Yeah.
I like bit balls. That's good.
Tesla
Oh,
balls
mate.
and bit balls, kind of
Yeah. Also,
Magazine
magazine
hub.
hub.
Okay.
good. Ooh, melee attack.
Oh, wait, yeah, Tesla balls.
Did you not see that? That's the first one I saw, and I was like, no, not
I
the
saw-
Tesla bullet.
I saw bit balls. It's the
Tesla
brothers.
balls.
Quick, mate, buy Tesla
Electrical
balls.
balls.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
Mate, you're in lane. Hey, just rush Tesla balls.
Fire
Tesla balls.
Tesla balls.
You know, like there's things on the top of like the what's it called? Electrical pylons, like the balls
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
But it
yeah.
just turns yours into that. You're just like
Mate.
generating electricity.
Just Tesla balls.
Yeah, it's good. I like
Yeah.
it. That was a
Okay,
good
that was
segment.
great.
There you
Thank
go,
for
yeah.
that.
Shout out Lamorite for
Shout out.
for putting that through
That is
Thank
that
you
is
for that.
segment.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Google Translate. Yeah, that was good.
That
I
was
do
good
also
gag.
like on the top of the shop.
To call.
It just
To
says
call.
to call.
To call.
To call.
Oh dear me.
Right, there you go.
That
was
the,
brilliant.
yeah, that was the Google translating items 5 times.
I
segment.
enjoyed that. That was
Thank you.
good. We need more
Yeah.
of that.
I'm glad I forgot
was
about
good.
that actually.
Yeah, this is why I was keeping it a little secret because
Yeah.
I found it and it creased me, and then I was like, right, I'll keep that secret for a week, and then that'll be gold for the podcast. And
It was gold. It was lovely.
Apart from if you're an audio listener, in which case you're just going to have to
Yeah,
wait
true.
until
Yeah,
wait
it's
until
just
the
This
podcast.
podcast
us shouting
is
Tesla balls.
In a couple months' time, when this is on Spotify, and
Oh,
you're
no.
listening, you're just gonna have to pretend that you can see it. All right,
Yeah, just laugh
our
along
little-
with us. Yeah,
exactly.
please.
Just have a giggle.
Yeah, have
or
a giggle.
else. And whilst you're at it,
Or
rate
else
us
what?
5 stars on Spotify.
Yeah, that would be
That'd be
helpful.
great.
I like how you're
Yeah.
getting ahead of the curve. That's
Yeah,
Well,
smart.
we're not there
like-
yet. Exactly, we're not there yet. Like
If
we're not even
you-
on Spotify.
No,
yet.
it's
If you come back to this
crazy.
video on Spotify, yeah, 5 stars. If you don't
Yeah.
want to be here with us from the start, right, you want to be a real one.
The unlisted videos.
Yeah,
Let me know.
If
gotta
you're
give us
watching
5
on
stars.
YouTube right now, just comment 5 emoji stars down below.
Yeah, that'd
Well, now
that'd
you're
also
a
be
real
sick.
one.
Yeah.
That's how we'll know you're not a robot. Like,
Yeah.
That's our capture.
Be like, so even if you just have like 5 stars in your comments somewhere, you could just like break it up with the 5 stars, or no?
Well, no.
We'll write
It'll be
out
our
the word
secret code.
star, 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 star.
That'd be a
You
good
could
one.
just
You
write
get
star,
creative with
true.
it. Yeah, you get real creative with it. We'll see what people come up
Whatever works, whatever works. But yeah, there you go. That was the translated item segment.
Right.
Yeah, that was an amazing bit. I'm astounded by how good that
I
was.
love the amount of community content that's coming up, by the way. I know we're not the only ones. Like, it's so cool, even stuff like that, where people are just playing around with the game and like making stuff. It's so sick. I like seeing more and more of it.
The gifts have gone crazy recently for Deadlock.
Yeah, dude. Oh my gosh.
It used to just be the Ivy hopping along, which was just hop on Deadlock. That used to be the main one, but now.
But now, Shiv. Oh my god.
The Shiv breakdance.
The Shiv breakdance.
All
is so
the pregnant lash dances, like.
Sorry.
Rare words. Which is pregnant lash, mate. He's dancing. He's dancing. He's got his little pot belly. He's dancing.
Yeah, I think he's got. Does he have a pot belly?
Well, if you bend his model back, have you never seen like everyone draws fan art of him pregnant?
Fat lash.
Yeah. This is like no, it's not like this isn't some weird thing I've dreamt up.
This
like,
is kind of a weird thing.
Everyone was saying
nothing's come up for fat lash.
Right, type in pregnant lash, Deadlock. Type in pregnant lash. Pregnant lash.
That one actually is coming up. There's a lot of that.
There you go.
Hope they make pregnant lash canon. Pregnant lash is real.
Yeah.
Lash is pregnant in brackets with another lash.
Okay.
See, I told you it was real.
Pregnant lash is a forgotten meme at this point. I think we're bringing it back.
We should bring it back, yeah.
Yeah.
Whilst you're at it, comment pregnant lash in the Discord.
Do not do that.
We have Moonlight, who is a well-known lash main, requests, can you draw lash pregnant? That's for you, Dan.
No.
Come on.
Short answer is
the
no.
people want that. That's what
I don't
people
care
want.
what the people want.
Rather than being able to do his ultimate, he has to like just take 8 months off because he's just given birth.
Alright, I'm off. I'll see you in 8 months.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll be back in 8 months' time, guys. Can't do the old.
He comes back with like a tiny version of himself.
You can't quit the game. It's like you're stuck in that game.
You tab out and it just starts going.
No.
It's like you wait. Everyone gets the text. Lash is in labour. And
No.
then you come
oh
back.
my god.
Mate,
And finally you can complete the game.
No, I don't want to imagine any
I'm
of
gonna
this.
lash. Well, I guess we know who had the last lash.
Yeah, that's good. I like it.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and do my segment now so I can get out of here because this is insane.
You got a bit. You brought a bit.
You brought a bit.
She's brought a
I've
bit.
taken it
All right.
along with me. I brought the bit. It's
Show me
here.
the bit. Show me
Alright.
the Tesla bit.
Go on.
So-
Show me those 10 little balls.
As you know,
Tesla ball.
I'm going to be doing player interviews. Those will be coming soon. But first, I thought probably best to interview the top 2 players in the game, just straight out the gate. Why not?
All right.
So I've brought along some interview questions if you're ready.
Oh, okay.
And when do the 2 best players turn up?
Yeah. Where are they?
I mean, they never did, but we'll just have to do with you guys. It'll be fine.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
Respect.
Okay, let's start it off. So this is like, I'm gonna paint the picture. You gotta give me your real, true feelings, like honest answers.
Okay.
Imagine this, okay? You are in New York. You are in your 20s. You just got out of school and you're like, my God, I'm living in New York. This is my dream.
New York City.
You gotta find a roommate, somewhere to live.
Right.
Okay.
Your only options is the hero lineup, right?
This is getting dire.
Who do you think would make the worst roommate?
Pregnant Lash.
No.
Probably.
Pregnant Lash would be fine. They keep to themselves.
They have weird
To be fair.
cravings. He's also an arsehole. Imagine
Okay,
him
fair.
pregnant.
Yeah, true. Pregnant.
Okay. Now you know what hands down the worst living condition would be actually
Go
if
on.
this was like a Friends type situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where you had
exactly.
like
You're
a
across the
couple
hall,
different
you're in the
people.
same apartment.
Yeah.
Okay.
Imagine you share a room with 7.
Oh,
Your electric bill is
damn.
fucked.
Little
It's always
Tesla
through the
balls
roof.
everywhere.
Yeah, like you have a shower, you're prone to just electric shocks. Like,
True.
it's awful.
He wakes
you have
up
to
a
wait till
little
he's miles
startled.
away, you know?
Yeah.
He's just shackling you by accident. Sorry. Like,
Just
and
rubbing
then
his little staticky feet together. Yeah, it's
you
the
got to
worst.
get away from him.
Yeah, there's just constant static
over the road
electricity.
in Furnace.
Yeah.
He's just
Furnace.
living there. Do you
And
imagine?
what's he living in?
Well, probably just the remnants of a burnt down building. What was apartment 402?
Maybe in
at
a
this point.
fridge.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
No, I feel like that
Deep law.
fuck his life up, surely, right? Being in a fridge.
No, he'll be fine.
I think it'd fuck
would
anyone's life up, really, wouldn't it? In a
Well,
fridge.
Yeah,
No.
but if
struggling.
I mean, he's naturally warm.
Maybe it'll be nice.
He's got heat.
He does have heat, but does heat go out in fridge?
Okay.
Thing get cold in fridge.
Before we derail
Campfire
too
burn
much,
in fridge.
I'm going to say
Explain
I'm going to say my worst room. It would be, I think, the slime guy. It would pretty obviously be fucking
Big Viscous.
Big
Viscous.
Visk, Mr. Vicious.
Because viscous would make everything sticky. Like the fridge handle would just be sticky.
Okay.
Like the bathroom would always be slippery. It would always be a hazard. Just everything's covered in goo. I'd hate
Think
it.
he'd
I'd
like
hate it.
I mean-
go in a fishbowl?
But yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like, maybe he'd be pretty nice, actually. Like, he
Yeah.
gets home from
He
work.
could be nice, but
takes
imagine
the suit off.
uncontrollable goo and ooze
What
everywhere
the thing
in your home.
is,
See an enemy. See it.
the psychic scene is
No.
See an
Don't start
see an
it.
enemy.
Anemone.
Enemy.
What
See
is-
enemy.
viscous made of, though. I mean, that's the question. Because the thing is that I feel like maybe.
Psychic goop.
No, that
Yeah,
is
but,
interesting.
like,
Hold on.
Could you eat him?
What is he made of? I think it's plasma of some sort, right? Like spiritual.
I don't know.
Yeah, spiritual.
Well, I don't know
goo.
because I mean, technically, right now we don't know. Like maybe they redesign him.
True.
Why are you trying
know.
to eat him anyway?
Well, I'm just saying, like, if he's left the house covered in goo,
No, but no
maybe
matter
I have
how
a
much-
taste.
You're like
no
a
matter
weird
how much you
roommate.
clean,
And I'm like, oh man, this is like
It
some
will never be
flubber type
clean.
situation.
You're
I'll
like
have a,
the anaconda of a roommate, just staring over your roommate's face, just opening your drawer as wide as you go, see if you fit him in your mouth. That's weird. Don't do that.
I'm not Jello.
Anyway, I would not be able to handle that personally. I'm gonna move on to
standing
my
there,
next
better.
question.
Big green balls everywhere. Be nightmare.
Okay, guys, if you could
Right.
change mid-boss to anything, what would you change it to?
Anything.
Anything. And this can be taken as liberally as you want. This question.
Giant arm flailing, wacky inflatable flailing tube man.
Good. I
That
like
would
that.
be good,
That would be
yeah.
sick, actually.
Right?
I'd love to
Yeah.
have a mod
And
that does that.
rather than it factoring in your DPS with weapons,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
you just all have to punch him.
Oh, that'd be
And
good.
it's just a punch off.
That's cool.
And he's got like an AoE ability where he like swings around the floor.
True.
Whacks
that would be
into
cool.
you.
Yeah,
and
that'd
you're
be
like,
cool.
oh.
It's all randomized.
And if
Like
you, why I'm thinking if you don't beat him quickly enough, little Dave
you beat him off
from the
quicker.
car dealership down the road,
He runs out with a sign.
he comes out exactly, and he's like, "Oh, what are you doing?
It would fit the
you've
New
gotta-
York theme. It would.
You've got to have this Honda Civic now." I don't know why he's
Yeah.
Welsh in this.
I don't know.
Well, he moved from Wales to New York.
Right.
Hey, son, you've got to buy this Honda Civic. You've punched
Okay.
my flailing.
You've punched me flailing in. I can't really
He's
do a Welsh
Irish
accent.
now. There we go. Yeah.
It's
multicultural,
it's one
Big
of the
Dave.
areas that surround me.
Yeah.
Do
Nearby.
that. Oh, that's a bit of a different accent. That's about as far as I can do. I think probably for me, big rat.
Big
So-
rat.
It's a really big rat.
That's
yeah.
so cool.
But like it's a ghostly, like the ghostly crows on the load screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a big ghostly
Oh,
rat.
that's so cool. That's such a cool idea. Actually,
You can
imagine
see
like
like his
King
little
of the
bones
Rat.
inside.
Yeah.
That's fun.
yeah.
That's
It's got like
super
a little
cool.
crown on his
Rat.
head as well. Yeah.
Unironically, probably should be incorporated somehow, like ghost rats.
What if they
Yeah.
added mounts, and
Okay.
you could ride in
on a big rat.
ghost rat, on a big ghostly rat?
Yeah,
That'd
that'd be
be
pretty
sick.
cool. It's like magic carpet, but magic rat.
Yeah,
Magic
it's just
rat.
a cosmetic. Like when
Yeah.
you kick into your sprint state, you just get on the rat.
Oh yeah, that'd be awesome.
Imagine
doesn't
how
do
well
anything
that would
else.
do as well.
I'd buy it.
Yeah, I
But
would too.
if you're listening,
That
Valve,
would
I'll buy
bang.
it.
Yeah.
I
I'll
will buy
buy
a
the
big
giant
rat.
rat.
Can we have giant rat in game ASAP?
King
please?
rat,
Even if he
please.
like just peeks behind a building or something, you know,
Like
Hey, mate.
Godzilla.
That'd
like an
be sick,
Easter
though.
egg. Yeah.
Like
Sick.
imagine secondary bosses, and it's like RATFELLA. He lives in the sewers. You kill him, you get a couple souls. Sometimes he drops the ratarang.
RATFELLA.
Yeah, RATFELLA. And you can throw the ratarang.
I like this. I like this.
Yeah,
Okay.
it adds, makes that weakens them. You know, it's like a vulnerability. It's a one-time use vulnerability.
One-time use on the ratarang.
Yeah. You got to kill the Rat King for it.
Yeah, I've taken down the RATFELLA. I'm rataranging.
I'm rataranging right now. Yeah,
Gonna
that'd be good.
ratarang.
I think secondary bosses are where it's at. I think they're probably next on the horizon. I'd hope.
That's nice.
Yeah.
So this actually is the leak. We confirmed it with Valve. They're adding the rat and the flailing inflatable tube man and Dave. Dave, the owner of the Honda Civic.
A whole skit to prep that. Yeah.
They told us.
It's all scripted.
Gabe himself gave me a ring.
Yeah, he was like, "RATFELLA's coming."
RATFELLA's coming.
Just want to let you know, guys. RATFELLA's on the way. Please prepare. Right, guys. Might have seemed like a few seconds there for you, but it was a couple, nearly hours trying to fix a broken file off the back of a PC crash. We thought we were going to have to scrap the episode, but you'll still get a podcast. I might just look a little bit laggier in the edit. We'll see how that goes. But we're back, dead air, on the air.
It's all fine. The dream is not dead. We are still here. We're still going.
So back.
Awesome. That's happening. We're so back.
Yeah, it was.
Got in there and defuckulated things.
It's got to be so over before it can be so back.
Yeah. There was a lot of digital interference.
There was so much
digital interference.
Yeah.
But I think what happened is Blank put a lot of Mars bars by the microphone. And it caused the digital interference. Because I asked you to scan them one by one, but you kept doing them in bulk.
I'm sorry. I need some of that weight loss product. Ideally.
And the Tesla balls.
Tesla balls.
But yeah.
Pain.
Yeah.
Jacky legitimately almost went crazy and deleted the channel. It was very upsetting. But everything's fine now. Everything's alright. We're back. Everything's
it's fixed.
You threatened me with a really long, sharp Mars bar.
Web tutorials.
We're trying to calm him down.
All fine now.
Okay, but everything's fine now. So I'm going to ask you my last interview question and get out of here. I'm not sure where we left off, but I think it's time to talk about the patch. So let me get out of here, all right?
Okay. What's your...
Last question of the night. What has been your favorite game change so far?
Ooh.
That's an interesting one.
This is a real one, yeah. What has been, like... I was going to ask something like, what would you want to see change? But I think it's just like, what do you like the most that's changed about the game? I think that's a more interesting question to ask.
I have one, but I need to confirm.
Sure.
Removed zap triggers on the rooftop locations. This is actually from this patch, right?
Yeah.
So you can get up on high, and you don't get zapped as often. All right, so there's places where you can get some really big high ground. Because if I like some characters like Seven, getting on these bits and then like having a little bit of an assassinate move was cool, but the game was like no. And I think now they're like leading more into those cool things, because you could do it on LASH as well. I think there were certain buildings like on top of the Soul Punchy Box Rooney. A lot of lashes sit there. I think it's one of the middle lanes and just drop down off there with his one, which is very, very fun. And now he can do it in more places. So happy days.
Yeah, I agree. I'm actually a huge fan of like all the new roofs as well. I saw in Jacky's patch notice. There's so many more roofs and high places you could be. Like I like playing the Dicta, and I felt like there wasn't enough like high roof angles before. They're kind of leaning into like the flying heroes more, and I kind of like that. They're making them more viable.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, Jacky.
Roof.
What is your favorite change so far, Jack?
I think personally, I thought about it for a while there. I had time to mull it over. I'm going to go for the change to Wraith's card trick, because it used to be really shit.
Okay.
It was super boring. Like it was just a card would float around you and occasionally hit stuff. And then they made it really cool. Overnight, it went from being like, I love Wraith, but her one's kind of terrible. I just click it sometimes.
Kind of poo,
to, whoa, this is sick. Like,
being obsessed
you're playing as
with
Gambit
Wraith,
now. You just fling out cards. So yeah, I think for me that was the biggest change. Was that card trick update for Wraith was actually huge.
I'm about to make a name for myself
Cool.
here. Yeah, that was a bit. I actually thought you were talking about the recent one, but I completely forgot that it used to be horrid.
Like. Yeah, early June Wraith, when her card would just spin in a circle around her until something got close enough that it would fire at them.
It was funny because I think I actually remember like really early conversations we had now where I would, because I had no idea about the game, obviously a few months ago, and I think I was asking you like, what does Wraith do? You're like, she's pretty cool. One's a bit rubbish though, just shoots occasionally, and I'm like, yeah, that is kind of rubbish. But yeah, I totally forgot.
And then you started
I thought you were gonna say about the speed flinging, no, it literally was horrendous.
Yeah. It used to just circle you as an AOE, and then there's a patch notice covering it somewhere, but yeah, and then it turned into an active that tracks like Half-Life, and that was sick.
That's cool.
So there you go. Shout out to Val for that one.
Can I change mine?
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Sure.
Not the zap triggers anymore, but instead,
no zap
let me
triggers.
see if I can locate it. It was also this patch. Slowing Hex. No longer cancels active mobility spells. It only prevents them from being casted.
Ooh.
It was again in the same category as Silencer, which we'll talk about later in the podcast. Thank you, Yoshi, again, base Yoshi. It was a no fun allowed ability. But this one specifically was no flying heroes allowed ability. Like literally some characters who had very cool designs, very cool mechanics in their kit. 1,200 item, it's done. Like, it just breaks those characters.
Interesting. Okay. Cool. I like both of those answers. All of those answers, actually. And that was really informative and tells me a lot about your character, actually. So thank you. I appreciate that. I think I'm going to go ahead and start signing off, let you guys talk about the patch, and say goodbye to the people, if that's cool.
Yeah, you may say goodbye whenever.
You can say goodbye to them.
Yeah,
you're
allowed. You're allowed.
That's fine. Yeah.
Well, everyone, this has been Damp on the Dead Air podcast. Woo! Crossover. It was really fun. For the parts it was working, it was great.
It was bumpy, the middle portion of the head when the PC crashed. It got a bit rough. We brought it back.
All worth it. For that one question. Anyway, so yeah, if you guys want to see more of me, I will be around on the channel, Deadlock News, player interviews, and just drawing content. So yeah, you'll see me around, and it's been lovely. Sometimes I'll appear on the podcast, mostly not, but I'll pop in, maybe.
Just break the PC.
Just break in.
It's classic. It's vintage.
But yeah, alright, so that was me, and thanks so much for having me on, guys. I appreciate it. Good luck with the rest of the episode.
Thank you. Bye-bye, Damp. Bye-bye.
Bye.
And then Damp's camera slowly fades out.
Oh.
Or maybe it's just a hard cut. Who knows? Like, how are you going to edit that?
I don't know. I think what I'm going to do...
Vocalized it.
Yeah, I think keep going and just say, like, she's gone.
Yeah.
She's left now.
She's well...
Alright, I'm going to leave now.
We can still hear her, but she's left.
She has gone.
She's actually left.
I've done like a weird little edit here. Just like... it's gonna be cool. Something's gonna happen.
You figured something out already, like or you're just...
Yeah, I have an idea. It's gonna
cool.
Her screen's gonna explode, and then
it's gonna blow up.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna put like sunglasses on us, and then we're gonna be back. Yeah, you like that?
That's crazy.
All
right, sick. Well, there you go. Well, in all seriousness though, definitely check out the other content. Obviously, like Damp said, drawing content. She's made all the art on the channel, all the thumbnails, all the little images that you've been seeing, everything. It's all Damp. She's whipped it up. Deadlock News, the drawing video. She's going to be bringing your characters to life. We are actually sending her to Gamescom. Well, I mean, she's going there for work.
We are
giving her a microphone just in case there is an announcement. More Damp. There you go.
Cool. Yeah, I'm excited to see it. Some cool content coming your way soon. Too much content. We're popping out. Jacky's going insane with it, but mad respect.
Right then, Blank.
Patch time.
It's time to bust open the... You ever seen John Taffer's Bar Rescue?
Is that the one where he's a big man, Big head.
He's a big man, big American man.
Big head.
He goes
angry.
in, he screams. Yeah, he's like, "What are you doing?" Yeah. Why is there bugs in the jam?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, like the mushrooms are like glued to the wall, like the
exactly.
put there beforehand. Yeah, I've seen that. It's good.
Right. He said that he uses a classic line. It's time to bust open the books. That's us right now. We're busting open the books, Frank.
Yeah, man.
The patch notice book.
Yeah, we're pulling out like when you're in the buy screen, you got your little book. Yeah, that's
true.
I know. So let's begin right now.
Shall we?
Shall we begin?
Verily. Verily.
Forsooth. Let us delve deep into the breeches of this patch notes. And find those Tesla balls.
Okay.
General changes. Added new hero, Shiv. He's in. He's cool.
He is.
He's got a little like woodeny arm. He reminds me of the Japanese gangsters from all the animes. You know, the long hair at the front. He's awesome.
Yeah. He is. He's like a Japanese rockabilly. It's very sick.
Yeah. Space Dandy. He reminds me of Space Dandy a lot. Very Space Dandy vibes, for sure.
I like him. I really like him.
Yeah.
I think he looks super cool. You can see it's very Neon Prime.
Yes.
But weirdly it kind of works, you know?
Yeah.
Like it fits a bit. He gives you like shades of Wraith in the way that he's got the jacket over his shoulder. He's also got like a robot arm. What's going on there?
Who is he? Yeah, what's he doing?
Yeah, what's his deal? Like, why is he constantly nodding?
He's listening to some music in his head. Neon.
That's what I mean.
Prime music, maybe. Who knows?
It could be.
But he's super sick. Very fun. I think OP. Safe to say.
Super OP.
Super OP.
Fair,
Had one game on him. 25-1. You know how it is. I'm going to pop up the build I used on screen right now, as we always do with these new heroes. I played one game. Now I have a build. No, I think he's very. He was quite an easy character to build actually, because he's very similar to Yamato. The way she plays, which is very aggressive, and the reason Yamato could be so aggressive is because she always has the reliance of ulting. Takes no damage, unstoppable. In a similar vein, I would say Shiv's the same way with the ability to defer damage, right? So he can be in a fight for a long time and be surprisingly tanky. So you don't have to build a huge amount of tank items and go a bit more aggro. I think Heal Bane's really good on him just for the heals. But yeah, I'll throw that build up on the screen right now. It works very well. And he needs a nerf, big time. And I think... Yeah. I had to think, Jacky, actually. I don't know if you agree with me, but my personal opinion, good way to bring down the kit a little bit is definitely the ultimate. Once you get those 5 points in it, it's a heavy investment to get it, but you can get that fairly quickly in a game. I think that there should be a duration at which he can reset his ultimate, because right now he can reset it whenever he wants. So you can finish a fight and have a reset ultimate off the back of that, or reset skirmish. I think it should be a case of you get 20 seconds and it resets during those 20 seconds for every elimination you get, kill you get in the game. But after those 20 seconds, it does go on the normal cooldown.
No, that's fair. Yeah, some sort of minimum threshold at least. Yeah, because for anyone that's unaware right now, killing blow at the minute, the way it works is like Mike said, when it's at tier 3, if you kill an enemy with killing blow, you get that instant cooldown refresh. So rather than it being 90 seconds, it's just flat back. But obviously you could chain them together. Even technically, if you were smart for like maximum DPS output, if you were in a team fight, and you didn't last hit an enemy that you know is low so that the Shiv could chain them together, you could, mad farm with it, basically. So, that probably does need like a minimum spend.
Yeah, right. So I think it's just a case of giving it that maximum duration that it lasts during the fight, and then, it goes on cooldown. So it's not a case of Shiv just permanently has his ult up if he plays it correctly, which is sort of busted. Some of the other kit is like heavily overtuned as well, including his one. And again,
it's always up, dude. It's always up. It's so strong.
You build extra recharge and rapid recharge. So ridiculously broken. With improved burst as well. That thing needs a total. It's the exact same scenario they had with Viscous, with his one doing so much damage. He's super strong. I think leave his 2 alone because it's really his 2 does a huge amount of damage, max rage. But there's skill expression there, whereas the Shiv travels so fast that it feels like if you're a good player, you can hit it, but it's not that difficult to hit either. So
it's pretty forgiving.
Yeah, like that thing tone it down.
Yeah, because it's slim but quick. Like it's the travel speed that makes it so powerful, and also the fact that like even if you don't factor in buying any items, right? So no additional charges.
Oh, it's powerful.
At max level, it wallops, and you have free charges. Hell, I mean, you have free charges of it. Rank 1? Like, I'm pretty sure just straight up from the first ability point you put into it, you get 1 anyway. So
rapid recharge got 6.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Really silly.
Like, that's crazy. And they feel like they're always off cooldown as well. Similarly to, like, obviously, I think it's like 0.2 seconds between cast times, which is the same as Rafe's card trick now. But even that doesn't feel that crazy, actually, playing with it. It doesn't feel like it's that much of a drastic change. You can get them out pretty fast. But the range on them, dude, and how quick they travel through the air
almost
is what makes it...
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like as long as your crosshair's on and you can trace, you're gonna hit it.
Yeah. So he's a really fun character. I think he's very well designed. And again, he just feels maybe too good in all aspects, right? He's tanky, does a ton of damage, doesn't have to build tanky either because of his deference. So yeah, some stuff needs bringing it down, but that's okay. Releasing a character overpowered is typically the best way of doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
Toning a character down much easier than buffing one.
No, we said the same thing with Viscous. I feel like we'll say the same thing every time Valve add a character. Like, I would far rather it comes out in week 1, we all get to stomp on the character, have fun, and be like, I want to use this, versus it comes out and no one touches it and it's boring. You know, like at least we get to play the character, be like, oh, there's things I really like about this. Then it finds its place in the game. They tune it down and it's good. But I personally think right now, this might be a bit of a bold take, but from playing him and the way that like his whole kit works, the way his design works, the way like overall this character is made, I actually think Shiv is hands down the best character in Deadlock right now in terms of aesthetic, the way that he operates, the way the kit's designed. Like, they've owned it, dude. The way they've made this guy's kit, because it's completely different as well, by the way, from what was left over in the game files. Like, even if you booted it up the day before the patch, they've changed his 3 and his 4. So
his 4 was weird before.
Yeah, he basically circled around. It was like Lifestealer from Dota. He would circle around the enemy, then go inside them, stun them in place, and then explode out of them, stunning them and dealing damage to them and anyone that was around them. It's kind of weird. I think if they run, actually, you would have moved inside of them. So it was sort of like a weird kind of Lifestealer /7 stun style ultimate. It was kind of poo, to be honest. The new ult is way better. But they've clearly gotten better at designing overall kits for Deadlock characters already, dude. Because even the passive elements of him, for me, are what make me think he's actually the best hero in the game right now. Because his movement, as good as Deadlock movement is across the board, his movement feels like a little cherry on top. It feels even better. It feels like somehow it's all come together at once. Then you add in the fact that, he's got a passive like rage mechanic that builds up. He's also got a really cool passive that has damage mitigation. His ult's actually like kind of skill-based. All of his attacks are pretty skill-based. And what's that? He's got an alternate fire on his right click.
It shoots you back. You can use it to jump higher as well. Like I would agree with you. He's a very well-designed character. I'd go that step further and say that he is probably the best designed character in the game right now. Again, my camera keeps on focusing. I don't know why. It's so annoying. But whatever. We'll focus in on Shiv for the time being. But yeah, he's got obviously he's got the passive, which Viscous was going to have, where he like slurped up all the goo, right, to heal. But he's got his passive. He has an alternate fire, which has an alternate function to it as well. It's not just an alternate fire. His entire kit's very well designed, and he feels very fluid. Like, he almost feels done.
100%. Like even with the contrast of his art style being a little bit more neon primey than Deadlocky. Like, he's got so much personality right at the gate. I think that's how, like, even in patch notes, that was how I described him, like design with personality, because it's effectively like as a character, you can look at him and he's super identifiable already.
Yeah.
He's got a pretty cool voice. He's already got some voice lines behind it. Like, sure, they can do whatever they want in that regard. But in terms of the model and like his overall swagger, his slide animation feels really cool, as if he's like a big tough guy. You know what I mean? The way he walks around. So we were saying it is that sort of Japanese gangster, like pompadour style cut, where it feels like he really is embodying that in kind of his attitude, that's backed up by all his animations. Like he goes on the zip line with his fucking legs backwards over his head. You know what I mean? Like that's sick, dude. The closest thing we've got to that right now is like what? Maybe Pocket with the suitcase on the zip line.
McGinnis, she like rides a gun on the zip line, which is also
she has
cool.
the attachment that comes out the back.
This is less cool. She's just hanging off the zip line, but still,
his
kind of
looks
interesting.
so dope, dude. It's such a, and like all of his animations, even by the way with that as well, right? It's cool because I was worried that maybe they would tone down his movement when adding him into Deadlock officially.
Yeah.
Because he used to have little rocket boots. Basically, on his shoes, there'd be like these red lines that would come out when he would do his animations for like dashing and anything like that. But it feels like they've just got rid of that animation, so it's more in tone with the universe, but left that kind of more free-flowing, fast movement that he has. And even his ability synergized into that. Like I was saying to you, the fact that his 2 and his 4, that you could jump, double jump into the dash, use his 2, and use his 4 to cover a substantial amount of ground whilst traversing the new high ground and going for an ult. Like, it's crazy. It feels like they've kind of... They've hit the nail on the head of how to make characters and kits super quick. Like something that would take other companies years to be like, oh shit, dude, we've actually got really good at developing kits now. Valve have just done it.
He's fun.
The second character in,
He's really fun. And again, I think from last time we talked about all this, it was a case of, they're already looking at redesigning a lot of the characters. I imagine some kit redesigns might happen because this guy is very much a testament to what Deadlock should be. Again, I think the game is high skill expression with MOBA sprinkled in there. And it is a very, very fun game because of that. And I think if they keep leaning in on that side of things, it's good. Again, with I think Yamato's a good example of this, is that she had a very MOBA-based ultimate back in the day. I don't think a lot of people got to see it. It was unreleased. But essentially, she would, when she altered, the design was cool because it was what they wanted originally. And I think that's why we'll see a graphical design maybe to her ultimate at some point. Because, the little symbol that appears above her head when she ults? Like, it's like the Omega symbol. That appeared, but like massive on top of her. And it would slowly light up red until it was full, and then it would explode, doing a lot of damage to everyone around them. And that was a very MOBA type ability. Like a big explosion that happens around you, stuns targets. It like dragged people in as well, so it was very cool. But with her ultimate, again, it's more skill expression. You're like dancing on the edge of death a lot of times when you're in an ult. Like, how quickly can you heal back off of this using your 3? How quickly can you get a kill off the back of getting all your abilities reset? It's very cool, and I think they should keep leaning into that side of things because it is working out well. Do you get a lot of people saying that the game's maybe too difficult? I disagree. I think people just need more time with the game.
Yeah. I think Deadlock, in a similar way to how Valve seem to unintentionally create games that are very easy to pick up and play, but have so much depth to them, like Counter-Strike, like Dota, where you can look at it, you can play it, or you could even just watch it and understand, like, wow, that was something really impressive I've just seen, or wow, that felt really cool to do.
Yeah.
But if you invest more time into it and learn the nuance and learn all the different things and find specific areas that you, specifically with Deadlock as well, dude, it feels like you can find the things that you like the most and you want to spec your real life time into improving on. Like, do you really like the movement? Do you really like the aiming? Do you really like the builds? Do you really like farming? Like, you don't have to play a game of Deadlock the same ever, really. No. It feels like there's a lot of variance. And I think that's one of those where, like, if you come into the game maybe it's a bit hard to learn everything all at once, because it is. And like, you know, no one held our hands when we were first doing it. And I remember going through that process of being like, shit, dude, if you slide, you have unlimited ammo.
Yeah.
You know, if we break these
like
boxes, we get stuff. You know what I mean? But I think that slow process of not being overloaded with, here's everything.
Little things you learn here and there, yeah.
Yeah, I think it makes you more be like, oh, cool, I'm going to incorporate that next game. Now I'll try to do this next game. In a weird way, playing Deadlock's kind of like playing like a roguelike. You know, when you're learning the game, it's like, oh, dude, I'm going to try out this thing I've just realized, you know?
It is really cool, a case of like every game you go into, you're learning something different, learning something new. How can I do this better? And we all make mistakes still. I mean, I made a mistake in our last game, I think. What was our second to last game?
Game before.
Yeah, call for a mid rush, but we were unsuccessful because we were against some crazy pushers on that team.
They had taken our inner towers, and now I think that actually we can bring this up now, and then we'll get back in line in terms of the order of the patch. Notes will bounce around a bit in today's episode, but that also goes to prove that even that 15% buff to the inner guardians towards your base is substantial enough to slow down a push. Like 15% actually does slow you down enough that it could change the overall tactics of the game.
Because I think in that situation, for me, that was an easy base race for us.
Yeah.
Because it was we were 5 and they were 2. But we started to push the lane, and we couldn't just face tank the towers and blast them down without the minions being, or the troopers being there to take them out. So again, I think I was playing on previous patch mentality, and I just couldn't anymore. So I'm gonna have to switch up my tactics now, because for a game that I thought that's a free win on the base race, because they were just letting us do this, was not the case. Worked out in their favor. So yeah, interesting. Definitely things need to change, and we'll look at that later. But yeah, Shiv's out. Shiv's really fun. Shiv's a little bit strong. Playing whilst you can. Probably by. They might do a mini patch next week, I reckon, to tone him down. I don't think they usually leave characters at this state for more than 1 week. But yeah, right now he's really cool.
A week is probably good, like they did with Viscous, where they had, even that wasn't really a true week. That was like 5-6 days before they changed Viscous.
Just getting a data, really, isn't it?
That's what I mean. Like, also, though, to be fair, thinking about it now, dude, when they had to do it with Viscous, there would have been far less games played with far less, right? Like far less people actually getting to play Viscous. Whereas now you're going to have thousands of Shiv games daily.
There's like 35k players on when I last checked.
Dude, it's in the top 40 games on Steam. It's beaten Helldivers. It's beaten, you know, whatever else. Tony Hawk Pro Skater can't even keep up anymore, homie. Like, it's over. Deadlock's just... It's coming out. It's weird, right? Because it's almost as if we've created like this kind of fight club of Deadlock
Nobody
players.
talks about Fight Club, yeah. Nobody
That's
talks
what I
about
mean.
Deadlock.
Like everyone's in Deadlock, but no one can talk about Deadlock apart from the silly people that keep talking about Deadlock publicly.
Yeah,
but
idiots.
we don't talk about them,
like us.
You know? Yeah. We make our unlisted conversations until the day we can go public.
Yeah, this is your secret check-in with Dead Air, really.
Yeah.
This is for you guys, for you.
We're basically like underneath the bleachers at the Argos.
Having a chat.
Yeah.
You can join us underneath here if you like. It's a bit cramped. At the moment.
There's a bit of damp on the wall as well, but it's okay.
I
think overall, dude, with this though, last thing I'll say is this patch, just in terms of Shiv and everything else we'll get into later, for me is I think Valve also realizing just how fucking good movement is in Deadlock specifically, because like movement's always been such a big part of like Valve game DNA for me, and no one does it better. Like somehow they just nail it. Like Counter-Strike feels so crisp. Deadlock has that same element, like Titanfall 2 even, where they took the Source engine, you know, do Titanfall and like Apex Legends, right? You get the slide, you get that movement, you know it's Source, you know it feels like Source. And it's the same with Deadlock now, where I feel like they're realizing that and they're starting to implement more kind of old school arena FPS style gameplay mechanics. It's so weird, dude. They've made a game that spans so many genres, even some that feel like they've been dead for years. And Valve have like resurrected them like Lazarus and just gone, you want bounce pads? You want skill-based gameplay? You want to play a fast-paced game where no one's going to hold your hand, do you, boy? Have Deadlock.
Have Deadlock.
And it's sick. Like, I love it, man. They've actually owned it so much. But anyway, that's enough glazing from me. I just had to get that in there. I was just excited.
Yeah, it's a bit of a lightning in a bottle moment, really, for them. I think they have caught the lightning somehow, some way.
Yeah.
But it has just gone from strength to strength. And I think the guys on the Deadlock team realise it. And I think even the boys over just in Valve in general are just like, send some resources to those guys.
Do more people want to join the team? Like, dude, if I worked at Valve right now, I'd be like, yo, that game looks sick. Like, can I go join that team? Because I think that's the way their company structure works as well. Like, I don't know if this is for verbatim, but as far as I understand, like the way Valve works is it's pretty laid back in the sense that if you want to work on a project, you can make that decision. Like, there is no sort of, direct structure of like, you are working on this game only. So I imagine like people must be like, dude, this game looks sick. Like, I want to get involved. It feels that way from the way they talk about it, the way they, I don't know, even just release tiny updates, dude. Even the little things that change feel like they're done with a lot of care, and a lot of like love of I like the way this looks or the way this sounds.
Yeah, it's actually so good. And I think that kind of ramping up, let's say, at this point in time can be quickly noted just in the case that they added a lot of localization recently for loads of places from China all the way through to France. This is a lot of localization going on right now. There's even more currently in the works. Even matchmaking windows getting opened again another hour earlier. If you weren't here with us at the start, we had to suffer. We weren't allowed to play Deadlock until 6 p.m. in the evening. You had to stop at 2 a.m. But now we're really back. I think it's for us, servers open around about 2 p.m. during the week, and it's 12 now. It's noon on the weekends, which is great for me.
It blew my mind. Like sitting here last night editing patch notice, and I'm like finishing it up, right? Like almost ready to do the VO and post it. It gets to 12:30, and I see Yoshi saying Europe game starting in 30 minutes. You're like, what?
Doesn't make any sense. Yeah.
It's so early. Like, what timeline am I living in? Like you said, I remember like we would wait.
We would wait to
book in for 6 p.m. Like everyone meet up at 6. It's like before when you didn't have like social media or phones. You'd be like, right, everyone meet at the McDonald's at 5 p.m.
Pretty much.
You better be there. You better be there, and then we'll go from there together.
Servers up in 30 minutes, pretty much. It's really good. It's very, very fun. I like it a lot, and they are just bringing things further and further back. Even more little bits of quality of life, which is you can prioritize 3 groups. To indicate your preference now, so you can have selected priority and then high priority, which is very, very cool. So they've gone one step further, because it used to be a case of you used to have 4 that you'd have, and you have 1 that was selected as a priority. You could have 4 selected as a priority. Then we went down to 3. You didn't have to have 4 anymore, and now you can have 3 sets of priority on those 3. So I think that they're trying to have it so specialized a little bit more, which would make sense if they're going to be leaning a little bit more into skill expression. You don't want to have too many on your roster anymore, right? You want to learn 3 very intimately and have 1 that you know very well. So that's fair.
That's actually a really good way to think about it, by the way, dude. Like going from how it used to be when it was 4. And it was kind of like classic MOBA style of, like you'll get some of the heroes you want to play. Yeah. Whereas now it's like, if they start releasing kits like this, there's going to be whole categories of heroes you might never touch, because you're just more like, this is my playstyle. This is like the level of aggression I want. So that's cool. Hopefully that is the case, because it's a nice change. It definitely is a nice one.
Plus it has a cool little animation and just looks nice in general with the purple thrown in there. Customization options to your crosshair. I think you know what that one means. So you can get in game, change yours up. I haven't changed mine yet. I need to though, because I feel a little bit silly with my classic crosshair now.
It's nice. The only thing I will say, it could do with a little bit more fleshing out. Like, I know that's kind of greedy from the fact that I think literally about a week ago, Yoshi in the Discord was just like, you guys would want crosshair options? And everyone was like, yeah, please. And he was like, okay, what kind of stuff? But if there was anything that would be expanded on in that for me, it still feels like it's a little bit limited in terms of like the size and sort of customization of some things. I know this kind of sounds crazy, but it's almost, I feel like you could just have basically the one-to-one style of crosshair customization that you have in CS2.
Yeah.
With how sick that is being in source with like crosshair generators and stuff like that. Because the community clearly wants it. Like Lamarite was making crosshair mods, before the game's even out, and everyone was going nuts for it. Like, everyone was going nuts for it, dude. Even I was really hoping, like, maybe one day I'll get to play with just a dot. Now I can. I just wish it was a slightly bigger dot that looked a little bit different. But beggars can't be choosers, so I do appreciate the idea of adding crosshair customization at all. Like, that's still sick. It's another bit of, like, customization that goes a long way.
Yeah, Deadlock modding community is awesome, by the way, so go check them out if you haven't already. For builds, you can now offer a suggested ordering of ability upgrades, skill order paths. Oh my god. But in game, which is very cool, because I think that if you look at a lot of other MOBAs, do you remember MOBA Fire? I remember MOBA Fire from back in the day. You'd have all your skill orders on there on a separate screen, but I think they have kind of revolutionized the way builds work. Being able to have it all in game, all there where you want it, where you need it, being able to describe and have descriptions in the categories, also having your skill order path in there. You never have to leave the game, and you can do it on the fly, because it used to be a case of reading a guide before the game started, you alt-tabbing to that guide if you were suffering, don't have two monitors. But now it can all be done in game, which is really, really cool.
I mean, the thing is, like, so they did a lot of this in Dota years ago. Like, Dota 2 had all this kind of stuff with, like, community builds. You could just pull straight through Steam. It show you the items, show you abilities. I think even in Dota, actually, you can just set, like, preset auto levels.
Yeah.
So you would just automatically, obviously, it invest the ability point into the thing that you'd know you want to invest it into ahead of time. But Deadlock's way of showing it off and how much more user-friendly it is in terms of, like, now with the new build system of you drag and drop the squares, you write the information, you make it look pretty, like, that's sick. Again, it's another one where it always felt like they would kind of try little ideas for Dota in Counter-Strike and see if they worked, and then implement them into Dota in terms of, like, features, right, that would translate over. And now it feels like a lot of the stuff they've tried in Dota, they've started putting into Deadlock, but refining it for Deadlock's gameplay. And we're getting these really cool evolutions of it. So I like that a lot. I do think that would be cool as well, though, dude. Because when I read that initially, the suggested ordering of ability upgrades, I was like, oh, does that literally mean you can just predefine what your upgrades will be and it will do it for you automatically? But I guess they do still want, some sort of layer of, you got to put it in yourself. We'll give you the icon to indicate where. But, it's not just going to do it automatically. I think that'd be a nice option, though, to have later on down the line as well.
Yeah, I think so. And again, I think for this game in particular, it's like, that would be cool. But I think with how you want to change things on the fly during laning, especially because certain times you get something else. So you need an extra burst of damage when you're playing Pocket. Maybe you go Cloak second instead of... Satchel. These are all little things that you could switch on the fly. But again, I think for newer players, maybe getting an automated build path would be nice. But I think with Valve really wants you to learn the game.
Yeah,
and understand why you're putting in points into things when you put those points into things. Because, there's definitely a lot of different paths you can take depending on the game, which is cool.
It's like teaching you about, like, pocket money, so you're not just spending it without knowing where it comes from.
Exactly, because I think that you can easily fall into that trap of everything being automated and not need to learn anything, when I think that's actually a core part of the game. But in terms of getting the casual audience on board, that is a very useful thing to have, of just having something to hold your hand the way through. Because like we already said, there's tons of things to learn in this game. And probably the last thing that you really need to be thinking about is, what does this item do? What does this item do? Why am I buying this item at this point? What's my skill path? You kind of want to focus more on, how do I hit my ability more in lane? How do I get more souls? Where can I get these last hits coming from? So I think this is very good for now in terms of the massive influx of new players as well. So those were definitely the important things to bring up. And talking about that, hovering items in the shop will now highlight their components, or what items they're components of. We said there was a long patch last time we did this. This is an even longer patch, so we are going to skip over a couple of stuff. I think one of the interesting ones is the fact that hero stats has been expanded, so you can see all your hero stats on the bottom left. And Jacky, they added, this is an important one, they added descriptive gun information to each hero.
They did. I love this, by the way. Like, this actually got me super hyped. So the way that they've changed how it looks, it's like 3D rendered models of all the characters. It looks super glossy, super high quality. And then they have their spirit power, their vitality, their gun, and it's all listed in a super nice way to see. But they've got named guns. All of them have named guns, and it's different per hero. Like Ivy's gun is called like Cat Dad or something. It's ridiculous. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but it's great. Dude. They've gone in. Like all of them have little tidbits of lore. Like Lady Geist's revolver's like a gift from an ex-lover. It's sick. Like, it's really sick. I love the fact they've done that. That's also another one that makes me think in the future you could see maybe you can get different weapons, like maybe cosmetics or whatever it is. And that changes it. Or even like alternate weapons. Maybe you could pick between two guns for the same hero. They keep the same kit, but they could have like a close range gun or a long range gun.
That
one
would be
that's
cool.
more skill based.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. I quite like the idea of that actually, Jacky. Nice one. That could be
that's what I think they might be thinking of doing with that coming into the system. But yeah, that's cool. The highlighting build components as well is actually really dope. People were asking for that a while ago. I remember a lot of people sort of talking about the idea and saying how sort of, now building especially items is a lot more common in Deadlock these days. So that's cool. I like that one. I'm glad they put that in.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking in terms of the other ones we've got here. There's a lot of this that isn't as important towards the top end and the general changes.
This one's definitely important, which is...
you looking at the AP change?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
So using an active item or ability removes the undo option for the item/AP, so you can't just buy healing right in lane and heal yourself and then sell it. There's also the big one, which is fixing some abuse cases with undoing AP cooldown reduction. So if you didn't know what this was already, essentially this is a case where you could spec into, well, the most common one was specking into plus one charge. So you would get an instant case use of that ability, you would undo it, then do it again, and you would have basically no cooldown the ability. And people were really abusing the hell out of this on Viscous when he first came out with his puddle punch. So you could just infinitely puddle punch as long as you undid the ability after you got that +1 extra charge. It was very broken. I'm glad they fixed that. I think it was a very tough one to fix as well, because it is quite hard to figure out when someone did that accidentally versus intentionally. I think you can abuse it intentionally quite in a big way, but you don't want to punish players for making a mistake, right? So finding the right balance on there is the tough one.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the easier way of doing it, though, is just because basically the way it worked in the past is if you put the point in and then took the point away, it still applied the cooldown reduction, didn't remove it. Whereas now I would imagine the way it works is that it removes the cooldown reduction if you remove the point, so it just negates it. Because that would solve it. But I don't know. I haven't tested how they solved it. I've just taken their word for it. But like again, I just agree with you. Like that's way better because that was a bit annoying. Because you wouldn't really know, but you could feel it sometimes. And overall, it's just more one of those where it's not a skill mechanic. It's just kind of like a grifter mechanic of like, if you know how to do it, you could abuse it.
Yeah.
But obviously, you want a bit more of a fairer game. So I'm glad they've done that. But I also like the fact they haven't scrapped the system. You can still refund points if you misclick. Like I did it in that last game we played where I was like, oh, actually, I don't want that for Shiv. I want this instead. So they haven't like penalized all of the normal players because of some bad actors or anything.
Yeah, which is good. Which is typically where you want us to be. Replace the earn drop parachute new effects. Neon Prime is dead. They got rid of it for good. Deadlock themed urns now, which is nice.
The urn's not changed, but there is just like a big blue portal. It's like a big gust that opens up and parachute with the mini gold man in. I know this is one that probably doesn't affect things for us too much, but I imagine for some people this is super handy as well. Valve did kind of tweak a few of the options this time around. So as much as they've added the crosshairs, they've also added a video setting that reduces flashing effects. I turned this on when we were playing last time just to see if it's like that noticeable. It just tones down a lot of the more like strobing or flashing video effects when you're playing the game.
Yeah.
I don't know if it has any benefit to FPS in a weird like optimization way, but for players that would be affected by that couldn't play Deadlock comfortably or potentially for a health issue, that's really cool to see they've added something like that in.
Yeah, it's very awesome. Again, we're gearing up the game. It's becoming we're getting
They're
more
polishing.
into
They're polishing.
optimization and accessibility. You know, when you're getting into that stage of things, if you're looking at accessibility, the game needs to be accessible to everyone. So
Yeah.
I think we're getting to a point here, guys, which I'm excited about. I'm very excited about. I'm a little bit sad to say goodbye to the Deadlock community. Deadlock community has kind of widened though. I think we've already said goodbye to like our tight little community from maybe like a month ago, where it was about like 3,000 of us. Now we've got the floodgates coming through, and it's great to have you all here with us. But again, yeah, we're releasing this. We're not releasing it, but Valve's releasing it.
We've taken over.
We're
releasing the game.
Releasing
Blank, you weren't supposed to talk about that. Yoshi said when he promoted.
He said not to say it.
Yeah,
So we're getting to a point now where Valve feels like they're getting more comfortable with getting the game ready to go on the old conveyor belt, which is nice to see. A lot of these other stuff is all little bug fixes, just visual updates. It's kind of insane, actually.
You know, like what I haven't even thought about up to this point, by the way? Isn't it mad that, like, this is probably just it's a free-to-play game, I would assume. You know what I mean? Like, I don't feel like they're going to whack a price tag on it out of nowhere with how, like, they've done the testing and everything. So, it's like, I don't even know. Like, it'll probably be, if it does get monetized, it'll be monetized in, like, the normal Valve way. But it's just crazy that, like, you're just making such an actual good, high-quality free-to-play game in 2024, bro. Like, compared to... Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, and it's bigger than like most quad A, triple A, whatever releases right now. Like, you've absolutely owned it. Valve have just done it again. It's absolutely mad. By the way, the change about visual clarity as well for Grey Talon's Trap, it's not that different. I tested it a few times because I couldn't see if I was just going crazy.
Yeah.
Basically, all I've noticed is there's more of a fishnet effect towards the end of his armed trap going off.
Yeah, it's like there's a little red indicator as well, which is a bit more visible, I would say. It's definitely better than it was, because I think the only other thing that you really figured out if it was armed or not before then was just like that clicking noise, and it like slightly dug into the ground. It's not huge. It's definitely not huge.
No, it doesn't seem that much different.
This is a big one. This is one that I'm really happy about. If I can find it again, added new silent status effect sound, so you're no longer getting that whenever you get silence, which not only makes you feel bad because you're being silenced, you're probably about to die, but also you're having your ears destroyed in the process. So that's nice to see. But other than that, it's just a lot of extra added stuff, improved visual effects. Again, they really have done a lot of work for us there.
Yeah, they did. I was just trying to see if it's here or if it's later on, because I couldn't remember in what segment they had put it in. With Bebop's Sticky Bomb. No, it's later on. It's in the hero segment. Basically, they made it so obviously you can...
Fix Bebop's Sticky Bomb sometimes misfiring.
It's that one, but then there's also, you can self-cast it now.
Oh, you put it on yourself?
You use a self-cast it, right? That's what I'm
doom.
saying. Yeah. That's why I thought it was in this segment, but that's
cool.
Like, that one's cool. We'll get to that later on, but that's really cool. I like that. A lot of this stuff towards the bottom end of the patch notes, it's more minor. Like, none of it really is that exaggerated. I tested a lot of it. Some of it is noticeably better, like audio fidelity of weapons. There's a lot more bass, a lot more realism. We've gone from kind of video game, sort of like boof, boof, to a lot more gritty, kind of like Medal of Honor style bass and tinny, and a bit more old-timey, which sounds cool. Like, I'll give it to you right now. Abrams' gun, infinitely better. Like, Pocket's gun sounds infinitely better. Dynamo's, it's a little bit more electric-y. It doesn't sound that much better.
Yoshi. Sorry.
What have you seen?
Patch.
Now?
Yeah, patch right now. So, we can go to the patch right now. Yeah, about Shiv. Gun base damage reduced 6.3 to 5.7. Serrated knives collision size reduced by 10%. Fair. Serrated knives projectile speed reduced by 10%. Base damage reduced from 75 to 35. Bloody hell. Yeah, it was crazy.
Hey, change default shop music back to the original.
Nice. Thank you. Everyone hated the new one.
Broke it. No, I really like the new one. It's jazzy. It's kind of New Orleans, but it only played the new one. So the old one was just gone. I was like, oh, it said alternate, so I assumed they would alternate. So I guess the default is now default, and then it rotates, which would be better.
Fixed rated knives bouncing to other units even if it did not impact the tower. Okay, cool. Yeah, that is better. I do like the new one. The new one is cool. But it felt a shame to lose the old one completely. At least.
No, that's what I mean. You don't want to lose one or the other. You'd rather have both. All right, let's talk about this, and then we'll go back to the other stuff that they haven't changed, because we do have balance changes here. So as of 2 minutes ago, time of recording, you'll get this video tomorrow for you guys. So last night, as you're watching this video, I just dropped it. So Shiv has just got all his balance changes, which is crazy, actually, dude. We were saying, yeah, maybe a couple of days, maybe a week. Not even 24 hours. Like, literally not even 24 hours, by the way. The patch didn't even come out at this time last night. Right. Gun-based damage reduced from 6.3 to 5.7. His gun did wallop. I'm not going to complain about that. Like, that's fair enough, dude. It felt like his gun did slap.
The gun was really strong, especially late game on the alternate fire. I think I was doing 800 damage with Mystic Shot. Kind of insane.
That's mad.
Considering I didn't really build that much into weapon damage either. So, yeah, that is some hefty changes. I think the serrated knives changes are kind of the big ones. It's all enough. There's no buffs here, no changes.
Literally everything we were saying as well, by the way. Projectile speed reduced by 10%.
Yep.
We were saying it's really quick. Collision size reduced by 10%. We were saying it's pretty easy to hit. I mean, to be fair, the projectile speed felt like it was the issue. Like it was so damn quick. It didn't look like it was that big. We'll see how much smaller it is, I suppose. I'll stop my game from updating so then I can actually compare that. It's already updated.
Damn, it's gone.
Nightmare.
Unlucky.
Opportunity's gone. The secrets of patch notice leaked.
Yeah, no.
All right. Oh well. But yeah, I mean,
asking how do you get the old files? Jacky is just a psychopath and records everything.
Screenshot everything, record everything, go offline on Steam so the game doesn't update. Basically, it's just the way to do it.
Pretty difficult, but it still works.
Worth it if you can keep up with it. It is hellish. Okay, but yeah, like, dude, that's not bad at all. I'm not gonna lie. He was really strong. Oh, okay, hang on. We'll skip a little bit and then go back. Everyone was in uproar about the new IVVO. They've restored it to the old audio processing, which I imagine means that the VO never changed. They just changed something in terms of the processing for it.
Yeah.
But people did not like it. All I was seeing is people getting really upset. I don't know how to describe it, but compared to the usual IV voice, it was noticeably different. If you know what I mean.
Right.
So that's just been reset, which is good for the Ivy fans out there. I know there's a lot of them.
There is a ton of Ivy fans, so yeah, touching Ivy at this point is a bit of a touchy subject. That is fairly funny. We're getting a patch.
Patch in a patch.
Patch in a patch. Patch during the patch breakdown. God damn. Anyway, I'm sure you can go over this in patch notice.
I'll whip out a patch notice for this.
Let's probably just go over the
maybe,
rest of the main
maybe
patch.
Tomorrow, maybe tonight. We'll see. Depends. Maybe I should probably go to bed, but
Yeah,
we'll figure it out. Probably should go to bed at some point. Okay.
Let's head back to the normal patch.
Let's go back to the other patch. We'll ignore this patch for now.
The minor patch, yeah.
All in all, though, it's basically just nerfs for Shiv and nerfs for Ivy. There is a funny one, though, actually, mate. Fix Killing Blow falling through the world. So I guess you could just clip out of bounds.
You just leave the game.
He's gone.
I don't know how you get back after that. I think that's just...
He's probably just... there is an unstuck command, I think, if you press escape, that kills you and respawns you.
That'd be good.
Bounds. Yeah. I mean, back to the OG patch notes. Everything else here, a lot of it was just minor visual tweaks and general changes in terms of, like, size of projectiles, how they look visually. Like, Hayes' daggers look more like a sort of katana-type throwing knife now. Like a little, not katana, little shuriken type thing. But yeah, everything else there... pretty normal. So let's go into missed gameplay, and we can rattle off some of the key ones on this. Bounce pads everywhere. I like this. I like this a lot. I think the fact that you've added in the elevation with the new roofs and the bounce pads in one go. In Patch Notes, dude, I was saying it feels almost like a V2 of the map. You know, it's like a season 2. Like you've spiced it up with everything you've brought in here. But I just wish they went a little bit harder with it to a degree.
Yeah.
Because the bouncers, like the jump pads, feel quite supplementary in the sense that they're, I don't know, they don't kind of fit the theme for me. They're a bit soft, bit squeaky clean. It's got like a cartoony like boing like effect on it, and they're not really punchy. In my mind, when I saw bounce pad, I was like, oh, dude, I'm going to be like launching myself for some crazy plays, you know? But it's more just basically an easy way to traverse between low ground and high ground, which makes sense. It's a rotate tool. That's what these are. They're just for rotates effectively rather than anything crazy.
Yeah.
But I would like the option of maybe some that are a bit more flamboyant and make them a bit grittier so that they fit the theme. Give it a bit more like thrust and
springs
and oomph to it. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like literally make it like a big spring bud that like launches out resets.
Yeah, that would
some
be cool.
kind of, you know, thematic to it. But either way, bounce pads, cool idea, good execution. It will only get better from that.
Yeah, I think the bounce pads are cool. I think making them a bit more bombastic would be awesome, but I think that you have Majestic Leap for that option, right? I think that they didn't want to make them so bouncy to the point where you never had to buy Majestic Leap ever again, because I think that sort of stuff would maybe break characters that like that type of thing. So like a Pocket or a 7, no longer having to buy Majestic Leap kind of would be annoying. But I do like the idea of them being these rotational tools, as you put it, which is very, very cool. I think bounce pads probably not. I think that's the problem. This is the naming of them. And it's bounce pads probably not the best name for them, because it's misleading. But I think that the idea behind them is really cool. I like the idea behind them a lot.
Yeah. I mean, dude, it's like it is like an arena FPS style mechanic you've incorporated.
Yeah.
It's nice, but yeah, they are just like a predefined rotate tool, because it also feels like the pathing isn't free in a sense that you could tap it to get momentum and bounce in a different direction. It's very much like a set pathway of the bounce pad will take you from here to here, you know. But I like it. I like it overall. Just above that as well, for a quick rundown. We've kind of alluded to some of this stuff. But for the quick rattle off, walkers, you've got to be within 30 meters to damage them now. It's actually quite a big change. Like you do have to get really up close. It can be a bit off-putting at first. Walker health is increased by 15%. Base Guardian health is up by 20%. So that's drastically big. I even thought that was 15%, but 20%, even stronger in terms of how much more HP they have. Patron, damage increased by 30% after it becomes vulnerable. We were talking about the fact that, like, they said they made the patron more irritable and more aggressive. We didn't really feel that difference.
Yeah.
I still don't know if I feel a crazy difference in terms of his damage output. And I haven't really even seen this, like, Torment Pulse style effect it's supposed to have with the 2 enemies in pit. I don't know if we're just melting it too quick to not see it when it's in its weakened state.
Yeah.
But this sounds good, if you know what I mean. Like, it sounds like a step in the right direction for the patron. I just haven't felt or seen it yet, but maybe that's our gameplay.
I think the problem with our gameplay is that we ended those games like fairly late, and it was ended quite late for us as well. So that 75 damage didn't really tickle all that hard. I think this is more meant to stop those situations like the 16 to 18 minute games. I think 75 damage a second to 2 targets would be enough damage to offset you getting back and stopping a team from maybe taking a patron and maybe making the game last a little bit longer. I think 25 minutes is around about a good amount of time for a match to end. Like, that would be a pretty quick match to me, but I think 25 minutes is sort of that sweet spot, and I think that change does stop some of those crazy 16-minute games from happening, especially with the base guard and health being up, patron damage being increased. This is all stuff I think to stop those 16-15-minute matches from occurring where it's just a stomp fest and there's no chance to get back into the game because you're already so far behind. They already have all your objectives, which in case they should win if they have another good fight, but it just slows the game down enough that a comeback might happen. If you're just getting absolutely stomped, say two your lanes just lose horribly, There's not much you can do if you're in one of the middle lanes and you're like having a semi-decent contest with the enemy. You've not got too many kills, but you've not gone 0-8 either. But you just lose the game off those two lanes, just absolutely getting murdered. So I think this is a good change in terms of slowing the game down. I think that's the main importance, because 16-minute games feel horrible to play, dude. It feels like you're waiting to die.
No, it's not ideal. I don't envy those ones. Okay, so outside of that as well, again, we had some refinements made to the base. Now, this isn't as drastic as the last big overhaul that we had, but it does just provide you with a couple of quicker pathways. You've got these like new secret passageways on the left and right hand side that expand on the already existing ones. There's 2 one-way offshoots. They're like little tunnels, like the air vents that you have down towards middle, and you go to mid-boss now, you go through the vents. You can't go back into it the opposite way, so you can't like sneak in. Those just spit you out on yellow lane and purple lane, and basically just get you a little bit closer towards the walker. There's also a pathway on the purple walker side that you're spat out from the one-way path that is open the whole way through as well. So again, it just feels like they're streamlining your options of rotation anywhere on the map, be it coming from spawn or, to take different peaks or go to different places. You now have 5 options rather than 2 or 3.
Yeah, which is nice and gives you a bit more of that element of surprise. And again, like I said, more options. And I think that if you guys want to see a little bit more of that and how that all breaks down, I would recommend you go watch Jacky's patch notice for this patch, because he's got all the videos on there of how it looks and the changes. Probably does a little bit of better justice than we can on a podcast of how that looks. So I definitely go watch that video for that.
Yeah, but just to give you a rough understanding, the rest is mostly just the roof changes we were talking about, and opening up different areas with more sort of verticality, more catwalks. Places that were juke spots are now big sets of stairs with wide open corridors. Everything feels a bit more breathable, a bit more easier to rotate. You can either go under, through, or around, basically, is what I've noticed with this patch, dude. It just feels like everything's a lot nicer to navigate.
It is sort of crazy because you have that top level map, but there is now a huge underground level for the map as well. So again, we were joking about secondary bosses earlier, but with the way they keep designing, like, I wouldn't be surprised to see jungle camps maybe underneath there at some point. But we'll see. Again, it's very cool.
Imagine the possibility of having a secondary mid boss that's a different style, different buff, different
under
drawbacks,
the map, even harder. Oh, that would be cool.
It's like the trade-off of like, do we go for mid boss or do we go for underboss?
Ooh, underboss is cool. Yeah, I like that.
Like, that could be dope. You can have that one, Valve. That'd be sick. Yeah. Also, it kind of sounds like Underlords, and Underlords is fun.
Yeah, Underlords is fun. Check it out.
I still play it every flight. I sit there just playing Underlords on my phone.
Just absolutely going for
Underlords him. Yeah, Underlords him. But yeah, I think map-wise, like you said,
changes.
A lot of that, visually, you can go check it out on Patch Notice. There's posts on the forums that I did as well. It has like loads of before and after screenshots, so you can see all of it one-to-one. We can't really give you a clear cut of all the changes. It's mostly just bounce pads, verticality, corridors. Everything's prettier, yeah. So let's get down to business to defeat the Huns.
Yes.
We'll go into weapon items. We'll start going through items, and we'll start rattling into heroes, and we'll get into it. We'll give you the meat and potatoes. It's gonna be a long patch notice for you all, so strap in for this one. Patch notice dead air. It's gonna be a long dead air for you.
Yeah, a little bit of the patch breakdown. So let's go into weapon items. Some of these 500 stuff doesn't really matter too much. The monster rounds, the big one for that is it grants plus 30% bullet resistance versus NPC, so nice for jungling early on. Restorative shot lets weapon damage reduced from 8 to 6%, or increased from 6 to 8%. Sorry. So restorative shot, even better item to buy now in lane. That's the big one. Active reload definitely needed enough. It was insane the amount of lifesteal it was giving, so that's been reduced from 40% to 30%, and the fire rate reduced from 24 to 20%. I think a lot of people were sleeping on active reload for a long time, and then recently, if you've been watching some of the high MMR games, you'll see so many people are now buying active reload because it just is that good. I think that the thing that puts a lot of people off of it is the fact that it is an active reload. You have to actively be thinking about it.
I to be fair, like, I really enjoy the item for that element of it.
Yeah.
It's also way less egregious now than it was back when sort of it first got added. I remember when there was no cooldown on it. Basically, it wasn't anywhere near as like ridiculous. You kind of just chain it together, and yeah, like the things were all a bit more balmy. So it's a really reasonable item now.
Yeah.
So I'll take that, dude. Very Gears of War-y. Do always love to see any sort of buffs to kinetic dash. This one's quite minor. HP regen up from 1 to 1.5, but kinetic dash is a fun item to play with. So I'm glad there's a little bit of love for it. Slaying Bullets now granting +5 spirits. That's not too bad, dude. It's a nice little buff to work with there. Bit more spirit power.
Put it in perspective, like +5 spirit is actually quite a lot. Think about Boundless Spirit giving you 60 spirit total, but you've built that from extra spirit into improved spirit into Boundless Spirit. It's still only giving you 60. That's a big investment you've had to make. I think it's around about almost 10k. So if we just take those numbers, you know, for each 1k of souls, you're getting +6 spirit. So this is worth around about an extra 1k souls being added to Slowing Bullets. So it is actually kind of a big buff for Slowing Bullets. It's quite nice. And again, most characters that buy Slowing Bullets are spirit-based characters. So I like that one. Soul Shredder Bullets now grants +6% weapon damage and debuff duration increase from 5 to 6 seconds. I like that because I think, again, I think as the game goes on, they are identifying which characters, which heroes with which kits buy which items. So it's a lot of that data we're getting through. So for instance, you got your Yamato's. Shiv would probably, I bought Soul Shredder Bullets on Shiv. They all really benefit from that. So getting +6% weapon damage makes sense for that item. Again, I think it was difficult for them at the start because they were making all these really cool items, but again, it's always difficult to figure out which items is going to work best with which hero. It really does require the community to come together and be like, come to a consensus, like, actually, this really works on this character. And by extension, very similar over here, which is why I could make that Shiv build so quickly, because again, it really reminded me of Yamato. And we're now getting items that work with a specific set of heroes. So it's easy just to draft something up.
No, definitely. I think we've got more sort of predefined archetypes, so it's not as far-fetched to find builds that translate across. And again, a lot of these are more sort of what we've been seeing with the more recent patches, where it's nothing too drastic outside of Valve trying to remove something that's an annoying, unavoidable sort of debuff into a more friendly kind of outskillable debuff in the right way, and then bringing up a lot of the values to, you know, be sort of consistent across the board. So I'll take it, but none of these seem too egregious.
I was looking down, and Warpstone active bullet resist reduced from +60% to +40% was broken. 6% bullet resist for, I think it was like 4 to 5 seconds. Very, very busted in terms of getting into a fight. You could buy that as your only defensive because it was off cooldown quite frequently in a fight. So using that just to get in and do damage with +60% bullet resist is sort of silly. That's nigh on towards where you're seeing the bullet resist before Viscus's ult. So crazy stuff there. I did read this wrong though when I first read the patch. Warpstone no longer grants +2 sprint. Fair. You're already getting around fast. Shouldn't get any more sprint from it. And I read Warpstone now gains +8 spirit as +8 sprint. Which was
I can see why you think that was a bit ridiculous. Yeah.
I think I messaged you. I was like, what?
+8 sprint.
It's not right. It's too fast. So,
yeah, you would be freezing, mate.
But
I didn't
that's
actually notice this one as well, by the way, with Glass Cannon. Mm-hmm. The fact that you now get +10% weapon damage per kill up to 50%, and then you descale the stacks if you die.
Yeah. Very cool. Nice snowball item now, I would say. Yeah. We didn't have a lot of snowball items in the game, but that's certainly one. Probably the first one.
No, that's nice. Glass Cannon felt like it was a little bit poo for the investment. Like, you know, you weren't seeing it massively kind of being endorsed. So I'll take that, but that's not bad at all.
Hey, also, Siphon Bullets, you permanently steal 1 stack, 45 HP from the enemy if they die under the debuff. So another snowball item. I like that they're adding these. These are really cool. And Silencer.
Goes both ways as well. That's fun.
Yeah, Silencer. Reduced active duration from 6 to 4 seconds. Finally. Thank you, Yoshi. You've been asking for this for ages. so important that they nerfed it last patch, and they've nerfed it again now. And again, it did need a nerf. It's a very strong item, very cool for assassins like Hayes. We love to use it, and it's a cool item. It works, but if you don't assassinate your target in 4 seconds, you don't deserve that kill, right? 6 seconds was a point to where you get silenced. You're maybe 10k, well, let's say even 5k souls behind. It's over. It's just over. There's nothing you can do.
No, exactly. Like we've been kind of on the anti-silencer train for a while in terms of just making it a little bit more fun to play against. I think every time we've done one of these, even that patch notice on the road, we were saying like, please just
change it,
bring it down a little bit, change it a little bit. So that's good. Like that's only a positive in my brain.
I think I asked for it to be 4 seconds as well. Funnily enough.
Yeah, I think we kept hammering home something like that.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Thanks, guys. Very, very awesome.
Good change.
But yeah, vitality items now. Moving on to that. A healing right, cooldown reduced from 75 to 65 seconds. I definitely noticed that in my games today. It is nicer in lane to use and feels more akin. Again, it's a 500 soul investment. It's not a lot, but definitely noticeable. Let's have a look here. Restorative locket, I think that was been abused quite a bit. Max stats reduced from 20 to 15. People were onto this one early, and I think a lot of people were sleeping on it. But yeah, very strong. Really, really difficult to kill a character that had restorative locket and also could take a lot of damage. I imagine this is, you know what, this could be really good on Shiv, you know.
True, actually. Yeah, that wouldn't be that bad.
You defer a lot of damage anyway, so getting to 15 stacks wouldn't be too difficult without dying. And then just using that on top of the 3. Ooh. Maybe I built that.
Kind of gnarly.
Give that one a go.
All right. That could be fun. I have to try that out, see how it sort of slots in. Melee lifesteal as well, getting a little bit of a buff there. All right. I'll take it, bro. I'll take it. Having a quick scan through, just looking to see what sort of some of the more major ones are, really. All right, mate. This is interesting. So this is an item that obviously, I think even last time we were saying, like, it's too situational. No one's really using it. It's kind of pointless. I only ever see maybe a McGinnis. Maybe a McGinnis that's split pushing that has this.
Annoying McGinnis.
Soul Rebirth. Rebirth health increased from 40% to 50%. So you're getting half your HP back on the respawn, which is pretty good. Cooldown reduced from 240 seconds to 200. So you're shaving off nearly a minute from the cooldown.
Yeah. I think our exact words was this item sucks.
Yeah, I think we did say it was like it's way too situational. No one uses it.
Yeah, this is nice though. I think increasing in 50% HP. I think they're testing the waters with it though. Again, like you said, buffing things is a lot harder to do than nerfing things. I think up to 50% HP is a good change, and cooldown reduced from 240 to 200 seconds is good. I think because it was a case that, let's say a game lasts 25 minutes, 30 minutes. You buy this around about 20 minutes in, you're getting 2 uses out of it, 2 to 3 uses out of the item. So there's better count. So with this, it does make it a little bit more. So you're getting maybe 4 uses. And I think that's a reasonable point for the item to be, especially with the 50% HP. Certain heroes can really take advantage of it, like McGinnis, because she gets back up, she can wall you off and reset up. Very hard to take down there. So I like that a lot. I think that, again, Valve just playing around with that quite a bit.
No, that's cool to see, man. Again, like that's a nice one. What have you clocked?
Colossus slow increase from 20 to 25%, but it also now affects stamina distances. You can't just dash away from someone using Colossus. Again,
okay.
We were just saying that if you're gonna buy a vitality item in the 6.3k category, you're either buying Leech or you're buying Unstoppable. But that's actually a huge one, because again, maybe you even buy Colossus on Haze. Who knows? So you can't just instantly dash out of the ult.
Ooh,
that could be good, huh?
Yeah. I mean,
again,
dude, for a vitality item that would give you that fucking stamina burn, that's not bad.
Yeah, but again, Unstoppable. during the ult. Hard to argue with.
Yeah.
It's hard to argue with.
You'd have to see how drastic it is, because obviously slow now affects stamina distances. How much by, to what degree is that negligible? Is it actually, like, is it something that you'd feel? That's a test. That's a tester. But again, like, I'm glad they are kind of playing around with the more sort of puppy items that aren't getting as much play. Because we were always getting like micro adjustments to a lot of the big boy items.
Yeah.
But I like the fact they're willing to take risks now with some of the ones that maybe aren't getting as much play in terms of the data, you'd imagine.
Yeah.
And these aren't bad changes either. Like, I honestly, dude, as a game designer, if I was sat there, I wouldn't know what to do to make Soul Rebirth actually viable in the game right now, or Colossus work.
You kind of try to balance it against like a lot of items. So yeah, it's hard. It is very hard. And this type of thing really does require a playtest. Anything with items in it needs a playtest, because you have to test all the items out. It's not a case of just testing the heroes out with 4 abilities in their kit. Much easier to redesign. These are all really difficult. And I think they're getting to a sweet spot now, because we do have a lot more miscellaneous changes. I think last patch we had a huge amount of item changes, and this one's not so much. I think a lot of the item changes happened in the spirit category. We have a lot more actives which affect your character. So I think this is the big one. So we'll head on to those now. Very quickly, Infuser no longer gives plus 7% spirit resist. Kind of busted for a 500 soul item, just gives 50 health now. What else? Ammo Scavenger, spirit power duration increase from 24 to 35. That's kind of nice in lane. McGinnis can definitely take advantage of that. Cold Front, damage reduced from 100 to 75, and spirit power scaling increased from 1.25 to 1.5. I really like that change. That's a very good change, because Cold Front felt absolutely oppressive in the early game. You get jumped on by a Yamato or a Pocket, they Cold Front. It felt almost... It hurt almost as much as one of their abilities, which I don't think is right.
No, probably not.
Yeah.
You wouldn't imagine so.
But it's going to do more damage late game, right? Which is important. I think keeping the item fresh.
No, exactly. They're not, like, again, with these, kind of what we're saying, like, that doesn't feel like they're trying to break anything. It doesn't feel like they're trying to nerf anything into the ground. It feels like they're either trying to bring up some stuff that maybe isn't getting used as much, or slightly tone down the more egregious abilities for an offshoot of something that still does similar output, but late game or in a different way. You know, like no direct silence. Maybe you get more of a slow, stuff like that, which is cool. So I don't mind this. I mean, Slowing Hex has had probably some of the biggest changes it's seen, I feel like, in forever. I feel like there's been one Slowing Hex update of note over the past 2 months. So this one's actually probably pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's massive. Debuff no longer cancelling active mobility spells. So if you weren't aware, you're just joining now. It used to be a case where if you were in flight as Vindicta or you were in flight as Talon, it would cancel those abilities. If you were flame dashing as an Infernus, it would cancel that. So it essentially broke Vindicta and Talon, because flight and the jump shot is such an integral part of their kit that having one 1200 soul item breaking their entire kit is painful, right? Because it's their some of their biggest stuff, and just being able to throw something at them and being like, right, that's it, you can't play the game anymore. Again, felt like a silencer situation. So I'm glad they changed that. I don't think I harped on it too much, because it literally did feel like a case of, it was a very easy buy where you were like, there's a Vindicta in my game, there's a Talon in my game, I'm buying Slowing Hex. But now you got to be a bit more tactical with it. So hitting it before a fight onto Vindicta before she can fly, hitting it onto a Talon before he can jump. These are all really important things.
I mean, like, dude, I was just throwing it out there like a baseball bat half the time. If you really didn't want to fight a Vindicta or a Talon, it was just like, have this, have this,
have that,
have this. And you'd watch that bad boy just slam into him so damn quick. So I suppose in that way, again, though, like, they have made it a little bit more situational in terms of when and where to use it, but made it a bit more forgiving in the sense that, okay, it doesn't do as much damage anymore, but for what the item is, it probably shouldn't really be doing that much damage anyway.
Yeah.
But at least you get a projectile speed buff. So that's not that bad. Like, wouldn't turn your nose up at that, dude. Like, the main mechanic of it has received an indirect buff here, but the things that were so egregious about it are starting to go away, which is good. Because, you know, even like what Damp was saying with like Vindicta players, it did feel a bit shit. It felt like that, you know, for those first few months even, dude, like first couple of weeks maybe, she was fun. But then it was sussed. The minute people realized how to use slowing hex, she was cooked.
Yeah, you were like, everyone was really enjoying playing Vindicta. Vindicta felt like one of the strongest characters. Everyone was enjoying her.
Super skillful as well with the ult. Because it was actually like, cool, this is like a first-person shooter. It's fun.
Yeah, so it used to be a case where you'd build full into weapon damage, and you would fly and you would absolutely melt people with the spirit damage you got off the back of her flight on the same vein of things, and then people started to building her into max range. I built it this way as well, which is a case of, you know, your full spirit, your assassinate becomes less of an assassinate and more of, you use it to chunk targets down before assassinating them. You build into duration extender for Crow, and this might actually be the saving grace for what I think Vindicta was intended to be, which is a weapon damage carry hybrid. So this is really nice. Also, slowing hex reduces stamina distance by 30%, and I think this is a really nice thing that they're doing with a lot of items right now and a lot of characters. Is a case of the item doesn't completely destroy a hero's playstyle, but it's still good at what it is, which is a case of, for instance, lashes. You hit them with a slowing hex, they're not getting away, their dash distance is reduced, and you can catch up to them quite easily. I think even this reducing stamina distance by 30% might be a little too much. I'm not sure. We'll find out. But in terms of closing the gap between characters, this is really nice for that. In a similar vein, Withering Whip now applies minus 40% fire rate instead of a disarm. Again, less no fun allowed things. This is the same treatment that Kelvin got, right, with his beam, where that was disarming you. Now it just applies a minus 40% fire rate. And I think that's a really good place to be. It's a really good place to be. I hate disarms, dude. I hate disarms.
No, 100%. I didn't even see that line in the notes, and like reading that now is really good, because again, like it further hammers home what we were saying, right, where like Valve are taking away X and replacing it with something that could be counterable. Like, it's not like you're just sat there clicking mouse one and going, I can't do anything. You still can fight back, you're just at a disadvantage and have to figure out a solution around it, which, that's great. That's like the puzzle of Deadlock that you want.
Yeah, and they figured out again, even if we go up a couple of items, decay, healing reduction reduced from minus 70% to minus 50%. Again, decay was never meant to be an item that just completely killed heroes that life stole. It was an item that was meant to counter them, but not to the point where you completely cripple them. So for characters like Warden, you buy decay. Most Wardens don't really build tanky at all. They fully rush damage and rely on the ult to keep them up. So that minus 70% essentially just kills the Warden. It kills the Warden because he can't heal. But now a good Warden could probably play around that. Yes, he's getting minus 50% healing, but it's not enough to the point where he can't still outplay you. You still want that outplay potential. You don't want items that completely shut down builds. So yeah, I like that.
Also kind of crazy that for what feels like the first time in maybe forever, dude, QSR gets a buff with no nerfs. Like, have you ever seen that? Have you ever seen QSR actually get buffed?
No, this is the first time. I've only seen nerfs for this item.
That's mad, right?
It was strong.
Okay.
But yeah, it got to the point where people just weren't buying it. Again, people weren't buying QSR anymore. What were they buying? Active reload. So
yes.
So even if you're on a spirit scaling character, you buy active reload and just build hybrid. So it's nice to have Quicksilver reload, get that plus 50 infused ability bonus damage. This is huge, actually.
That is pretty big, dude. That is actually like pretty substantial. Chonky. Right then. That's not bad. Take that one to the bank. Just having a look at the rest of these as well. I don't mind most of these changes. Like towards the bottom end, I think again everything's pretty reasonable. Nothing feels that egregious.
Yeah.
Like you're giving a little bit of love to Surge of Power. Like it does feel like these updates now have really come down to more Valve just polishing up some of the sort of, you know, the items that were forgotten a little bit by the greater community. Yeah, this does seem like a lot less changes for items than last time around. Somehow I remember spending like legitimately like an hour just on items alone.
Yeah.
So yeah, something's definitely cooking a little bit easier for them now in terms of the balancing overall.
We're also a little bit more freeform with this. Like in the past, we would go over every single item, but we're just gonna
Each one, yeah.
we're just going over the most important changes. I think if we come down to the bottom of the spirit list now, I think the two most important, maybe three most important ones I see is the fact that superior duration now provides plus 15% weapon damage. I think most characters that are building in superior duration have bleeds or burn damage, but a lot of those are applied by either your weapon or a character who's hybrid, so nice to add some weapon damage to that as well. Escalating exposure, max interval improved from 1 second to 0.7. Almost felt like a myth getting those 20 stacks on escalating exposure, and this makes the item even better. Very, very good item. And finally, Curse cooldown increased from 40 seconds to 50 seconds, which is very important because Curse, although a really good item, you shouldn't be able to use it twice in one fight unless it's a really long fight. So it should be a case of you use Curse to shut down that one hero and then it's done, because again, it is incredibly painful to play against, but it's one guy on your team buying Curse for 6.3k to specifically shut down a carry.
Not just everybody's getting cursed from the one homie on the team.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not the way that's going. Diviner's Kevlar are also getting what is a pretty substantial nerf to the cooldown as well, from 30 to 60, so doubling it there. Again, that's another one where it felt like they were really trying to feed Diviner's Kevlar all the buffs, all the goodies that they could to get people to use it. So yeah, the cooldown going up on that one, probably fair enough. But out with the old, in with the new. This is the interesting stuff that we saved till last anyway. So firstly, let's cover the opening one. It's a tier 1 weapon item. So you've got yourself the high projectile rounds, I believe they're called. It's something like that in game. It doesn't actually have the name listed on the patch notes. I've not got Deadlock open. But effectively, it's your bullet projectile speed that this is going to be focused on buffing. So not your shooting speed. It's just how fast they go through the air. And it is actually pretty noticeable, dude. Like 35%, I was testing this with a few different heroes. Like on Geist, man, that revolver feels like it goes across half the map in a few seconds. It's like, it actually feels really responsive. So it's nice, dude. Like this item, if you're someone that's very gun oriented, for 500 souls, invest in that bad boy. If you're doing good damage, if you're someone that's really capable at aiming and you're going to get a lot of bang for that low buck, then yeah, like the projectile speed actually could make a difference.
Yeah, I think it's not only just the bullet projectile speed, the plus 14% weapon damage and plus 50 bullet shield. For 500 souls, that's actually really big. If we talk about Hollow Point Ward, I think that's 20% conditional extra damage when you're above, I think, 60% HP now. So that's only 6% less. And there's no conditional on this item. So very, very nice. I expect to see that nerfed in the future.
Surely.
Yeah. Down to probably maybe like 12 or 10%. I think 12% would be a reasonable spot to have it in.
Yeah. I mean, dude, like, wasn't it, 2 patches ago we got rapid rounds, and then rapid rounds got dialed back a bit?
Yeah.
And then before that, we got something else that was also a tier 1 weapon item, and that got dialed back a bit. Again, it seems like it's always the classic, is that you get, like, these $500 items that are super cheap and super good. Everyone buys them, realizing that, like, the equivalent exchange of how much you're getting for those 500 souls is through the roof. That they then get balanced a little bit more realistically. Next one's cool, though. Tier 4 spirit item, Magic Carpet. Both of these came from the forums, by the way.
Yeah.
There was like 2 separate threads where people were suggesting items. Like, Yoshi's been super active. Like, you know, even, hell, we got shouted out, right, with the stuff we were posting on the forums.
Probably not just
players
on the
getting
Yoshi.
items in the game.
Probably
no, like the devs are actively using it.
Yeah, it's really nice.
No, it's crazy. But yeah, Magic Carpet, bro. We can live the Aladdin fantasy. Like, it's just no clip in lane, basically.
Yeah. This was actually a really big one. And for all you 7 users out there, you don't need to buy Majestic Leap anymore. Majestic Leap is a nice item, but for a lot of, let's say, ultimate builders, Majestic Leap's probably still going to be your big option. But I think for people who build into his 3 and his 1, for that max like weapon damage, really, soul shredder bullets, Tesla bullets, all that good stuff, Tesla balls. This is actually a really good item for you to buy in the late game because it has 10% ability duration, 150 health, plus 15 spirit power, gets you into that location to ult from. This feels like the perfect item built specifically for 7. So this is really awesome. I love this item. It's so creative. Whoever came up with it needs a big pat on the back, and also the developers that managed to squeeze it into the game also deserve a big pat on the back. So very, very cool. I can't wait to use this in game. I actually haven't had a chance yet, but I have seen it been used.
You've tried it out,
super cool.
Yeah, dude, it's sick. Like, it's actually super sick. I was playing with it. First time I used it, it just legit felt like you were kind of just cheating because you just start flying around lanes. Like, it's really fun. I was trying to get on the thread to check who it was that actually suggested it so we could shout them out, but it looks like the forums are down, so be careful refreshing the patch notes.
I just cancelled it.
yeah.
There we go. We're alive. Almost ruined the game then.
Nearly could have gone wrong. All right, so hero gameplay. We made it to the promised land. Hero gameplay isn't as bad as it looks. It looks like there is a metric fuck ton of changes.
but there isn't. There really isn't.
There isn't, actually. It's mostly just like a few offsets on the same kind of heroes. So let's just start at the top. We'll rattle through. If things don't look as interesting, we can skip over them. Like outright, by the way, Abrams changes. Mostly again, just they're not that crazy for me. It's mostly just this patch was all about just tidying up Abrams in terms of, oh my god, Small just gave me a heart attack. So I'm like peeking out from behind the curtains with a huge spider.
Oh my god!
Yeah, like if it was like a beast of a spider. I said, hello. God. So the Abrams changes just like visually, obviously just tightening things up, and then again with this it feels like they're always trying to just make him feel right. Like I don't know if it's interp or whatever it is, but so the enemies actually get stuck to him, they get dragged along properly, so they're just bug fixes, and then you get a slight damage reduction on seismic impact, so go down from 175 to 150. Like a lot of the time anyway, it feels like seismic impact kind of use it to initiate or escape, and it's sort of a bit of a reposition. So I think losing a bit of damage from that isn't the end of the world.
Yeah, which is nice. I think Abrams again just needs tidying up because his kit is a bit wonky at times. Let's put it that way. Where a lot of his kit includes moving or pushing other heroes around, and in the source engine it has been a bit skew-if at times, but they have been fixing it. I don't know what kind of wizardry they've done behind the scenes, but he does feel a lot better and feels a lot more responsive. Moving on to Bebop though, he's had probably the most amount of changes other than Viscous during this patch. Gun range reduced from 50 meters to 30 meters, plus 2.5 meters per boon. So his max goes up to 58 now, which is kind of nice, but keeps him... he's in a more difficult spot in the early game. Again, if you're laning anyway, you're not likely going to be shooting much more than 30 meters anyway. Speed while shooting increased from 55 to 70%. Nice change. Does always feel a little bit shitty, kind of waddling around the map whilst with your laser out. I don't know, there's a euphemism in there somewhere, I think.
Yeah, like... There probably is. There's probably something in there. He's got his laser pen out. But yeah, I mean, so again with Bebop, it felt like for a while they were like, "Damn, dude, he is really fucking strong. Like, what can we do? Let's reduce his HP. Let's reduce his movement." You know what I mean? Now I'm glad we're kind of finding the middle ground of like maybe we just tweak him slightly, give him some drawbacks and some benefits again, because it felt like he was on the naughty step. It's kind of rough for the Beboppers out there. So I don't mind this. I'm just double checking. Yeah, okay. So it is actually listed here as well. You can see down towards the bottom, you got the sticky bomb changes. So sticky bomb radius, that's up by 2 meters from 10 to 12. And sticky bomb can be self-cast, which is sick. I think that's really fun. The fact that you could like just cast it when you don't even need creep. You just put it on you mid-fight or like running in, surprise sticky bomb. Like, that's nice. The hyper beam changes as well. You do notice the difference. I was checking sort of how quick it feels. You know, obviously when you turn before, it's real slow, right? It's like turning like a big cannon, like bit by bit, turning circle of a bus. Now it's not as bad. Like that 10% is kind of noticeable.
Yeah, it's definitely easy whilst you're midair. I've seen a lot of these Majestic Leap Spirit ult builds, which are super fun. But yeah, it was the point where someone got close to you, it's game over. And if you're building into the ult build, which is really fun, again, like I say, that did suck. So having that extra turn speed is really nice. Speaking of the sticky bomb change, being able to self-cast means that you could preempt self-cast bomb on yourself, obviously, self-cast, hook, get the damage of the bomb off, and then re-bomb them. Because the cooldown's so short.
Gameplay loop.
Yeah, that is some, again, skill expression. That is the main thing that we're talking about.
If you can nail the timing and know how to do the combo.
Yeah. You could probably insta-give someone. Imagine if you had Echo Shard as well.
Oh,
that's
the extra
3
damage
bombs.
Back to back.
3 bombs.
Okay.
Quick succession. That's kind of
Could
insane.
be gnarly. But it means, obviously, you've got to predict it perfectly. I do wonder. Now, I haven't tested this, but would Sticky Bomb deal damage to yourself if self-cast? Because obviously, surely that's the drawback, right? That should deal damage to you, no?
No, you can attach it to friendly troopers as well, and it doesn't deal damage to them. But it feels like it would, right?
If it's on yourself,
you're sticking it to yourself.
That's what I mean. Like, if it's on you, it feels like it should deal damage, and that should be the drawback. Even if it's like 70% reduced or something, like some kind of damage.
That'd be a nice little bit of flavor text there, realistically.
Yeah.
I'll
test that out later.
Yeah. What else is there? Uppercut now has a slight angle limitation to prevent straight up direction. Haha. That kind of ruins a lot of bebops. Had a little bit of a haha moment there because
True. Yeah, you can't just send everyone skyrocketing.
Yeah, they did adjust it a little bit last patch, and it was sort of very hard to do. But it basically a month ago, I think you can still see it in one of my videos that I dropped on my channel, where I was just uppercutting everyone to the sky. They're so easy to track as well whilst they're in the air.
We were just duoing this in lane, weren't we? And we bait them in, hook them, uppercut them. They'd be in the air and we just shoot them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a bad time. That was a bad time to be uppercut by a Bebop.
It was still doable last patch, and the thing was that Bebop's got pretty wise to it. All you crazy Bebop mains out there, hooking you into tower and then uppercutting you as upwards as possible into the Guardian. And that's just death. And I don't really think it ever should be a point where if you get one hook in lane underneath a Guardian, it should be instant death. That seems unfair. So I think this should now place you far enough towards the Guardian so you still have air momentum. I think that was the worst thing about it, is that you could really reduce any momentum that a hero had during that uppercut. This time it should send you further away. And that situation might still happen, but just not as often, or at least the point where it puts you in scenarios now where you can live it.
That's fair, man. Again, like Bebop changes like this all feel reasonable. It feels like it's smart, heads up balancing changes that add a little bit of skill or take away something that's a bit cheesy. Outside of that, then Dynamos are a lot more sort of calm, to be fair. It's not that big of a change. A lot of these seem to be coming in now where Valve are providing you options to be able to cancel out of abilities rather than having to just wait them out, which is good. Like, that you shouldn't be trapped in an animation just because you cast something. They basically added that globally with how things work now, where you can break out of aiming, and this is now going to work the same with rejuvenating aura. You can cancel it by using stamina rather than having to just manually turn it off. So that's not bad. Tried out the changes for kinetic pulse as well. I was doing it on stairs, kicking it downstairs. Just feels like it's more responsive. Like the hitbox is better on it now, I guess, when it detects that someone's below or above you.
Just checking something really quick on the T3, because I think that is a threshold. Give me 1 second. Improved burst. There we go. Yeah, I thought it was. Look at that. I'm on the fly here. But yeah, kinetic pulse T3 increase from plus 115 damage to 125 means that even if you didn't spend a single point in spirit damage, if you just buy Mystic Burst, abilities deal bonus spirit damage if they deal 125 damage or more in a single hit. So it exactly hits the required amount. So you could just buy Mystic Burst in lane. And you'd be able to get the improved burst. So that's a 10% health bonus damage just off kinetic pulse now. So you can still build gun dynamo, throw improved burst into the mix, and you're doing a bunch of extra damage. That's really cool. I like that. That feels very intentional to me, Jacky.
No, it's cool. It's cool. Hey, here we go. I remember reading this one yesterday, actually. Great Talon charge shot collision radius reduced by 10%.
Again.
Every time he's in a patch, bro, it's getting smaller and smaller since when we were just begging for it to be reduced.
Yeah.
I'll take that. And that's the collision radius for it. So this is sort of the room for it to tag onto your hitbox in terms of like the detection. Not bad. I don't mind that. The less obnoxiously large charge shot is, the better everyone will enjoy Deadlock.
Yeah, he's so unreasonable in lane, but it is cool. And again, more skill expression. If you wanna hit those awesome 700 damage charge shots, you better line them up first. You know, you got to be an actual archer, which is very very nice.
Damn good at it.
Yeah,
so
good.
that's fair. Hayes actually gets a change overall for the first time in a while. This one's interesting. So now, obviously, the way it's always worked, or at least worked for a very long time on Hayes, Sleep Dagger would just put you straight to sleep. So that would mean if I tag you, you're out cold until it wears off, or until I wake you up by either tagging you or punching you. One of the two, or if someone shoots you, right?
Yeah.
Now, it's a 0.25% second period where you're going slower until you then pass out. So you can fight back for that brief window. Obviously, 0.25 seconds is a very brief window. It's not very long at all, but it does give you a little bit more of an opportunity, maybe to make an outplay, maybe to get back somewhere else, maybe to make some kind of maneuver that lets you cast, because you can still cast abilities within that window. So you have a get out of jail free card if you can hit it in that time.
If you can react quick enough. I mean, I think the main one here would be just a dash away, right? Dash to cover, because there's a lot of annoying scenarios where you would get slept on the stairs in laning just before the Guardian, because it was instant sleep. The enemy could just like line you up for a double punch, and there's nothing you could do about it, even if you are that close to your Guardian. So I think this is really nice. Again, you're right, it's such a minuscule amount of time to react, but that react time is there, which is nice to see, even if you're able to do a little bit of something.
Exactly, it's a window. Like, we'll see if that actually comes back to result in anything. But that's the difference of, potentially with something like that. That could be the difference of, like a couple years time. Imagine like a huge play, like a big event where that difference of you being able to hit that minute timing of saving yourself rather than an instant sleep could maybe give someone, a huge leg up in a big game. But we're speculating, obviously, just to give you context of why that could be interesting. Few changes to fixation as well. Of course, the passive that Hayes has in terms of the repeat sustained damage fire. Tier 3 is going to be reduced from 0.25 to just 0.2. And the Tier 2 has plus 6 seconds added to duration. Actually, has had its 6 second duration taken down to just 5 seconds.
Yeah, I think these are all reasonable changes, just because fixation was a really strong ability, on top of the fact that bullet dance is also a really strong ability. So you've got two defining parts of a kit, not to mention the sleep. I think Hayes is another really well designed character, but yeah, fixation was a little bit too strong, and especially the tier 2 being from plus 6 duration to plus 5 is an important one, because it gets to the point where in lane, if you're playing against a good Hayes, that's it. The fixation's on you the whole time. As long as she keeps reapplying it, you're not getting that thing off unless you go stand around a corner for the duration to wear off. So yeah, it's a nice one to change. Ivy, so sorry. Fixed melee still going through when casting stone form after initiating a melee attack. Surprised this one actually managed to avoid getting squished for so long. But this one was a really annoying one, and if you could pull it off well, you're an absolute monster, because obviously there's no way to parry Ivy during that. And even if you do parry her, she's in stone form, so she doesn't take any form of, she's essentially out of the game for that time. She doesn't take any damage, doesn't really take that parry either, so she can just get free heavy melees off all the time during stone form. So that was pretty egregious. I'm glad that's gone.
It's like the free mid-boss rejuve steal right there.
Yeah, pretty much. Exactly. That was the huge one, right? Is that you could hit the 3 and charge up the melee and grab rejuve.
You just steal rejuve. Yeah, that was like literally what Ivy, especially when we started playing back in like June, that's what we were saying. Like Ivy's designed for. It's like they've got an Ivy, they're just going to steal rejuve.
Yeah.
You couldn't do anything. So that removes that element at least.
I mean, she still was able to steal rejuve just off the back of the stun, but if we take a look at this next one, tier 2 stun reduced from 0.75 to 0.5 seconds. So again, this might give more opportunity to get that all-important parry off. Because she can't charge it up beforehand, she has to charge it up after the stun goes through. So this is really nice. I think that they changed Yamato where it got to a point where she was just free to get the rejuve steals, but dropping the rejuvenator from, it used to be 12 seconds to drop from the sky down to 9 seconds. That really messed up Yamato's because it was much harder to time the ult. You can still do it, but it's not as free. And now taking Ivy's ability just to get a free cast of stone form into rejuvenate steal, also awesome. So yeah, very, very happy to see that. And rejuvenator feels a little less scary to take now.
Yeah, mid boss still bait, but maybe slightly less
bait. Yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, we'll go into this a little bit more in depth another time, but they did change over Ivy's ult. They were teasing that. Yoshi was saying that they're going to update it. They just outright did. So she has the airdrop ult now instead, where you can pick up a teammate rather, fly them over the map, and then throw them down to the ground like a bomb, and they'll deal damage, slow, and silence enemies. If you don't have a teammate around, she basically just generates a bomb that she'll drop, and you can use that, but it has a slightly longer cast time if you do it that way around. There's also the other changes that did come out with the little patch that dropped whilst we were recording this to kind of change some of the things we're talking about here. So take it with a grain of salt, have a look at the patch notes for yourself on that one, and we'll come back to it another time. I'll drop a little mini patch notice when I get some time a little bit later on. We'll go down though to Kelvin, Mr. Home Alone again. So Arctic Beam was having some issues in terms of its scaling, which they also said they fixed, where it wasn't actually applying the range of items that gave it extra range previously. I think it was, if it was at tier 3, it would ignore range like increasing items, but that's not a bug anymore. Like they fixed that, and then it's a lot more Arctic Beam centric changes, and then Frozen Shelter gets a change again to benefit Arctic Beam.
Yeah, which is nice. Overall, it's cool to see. I like that being able to use Frozen Shelter whilst Arctic beaming works very, 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 very well with the new beam builds that are coming out. I think that Valve are leaning into that a little bit from the development team, which is nice to see. Beam time to reach max slow increased from 1.2 to 2 seconds. Very nice. I think the fact of the matter is that if you could drop a beam off and it's got that daisy chaining effect, you could just max slow everyone. And they reduced the slow from 90% to 60% because it was insane back in the day. So it's nice to see that has been reduced a little bit. So for Kelvin, not minor changes, but changes enough to make it so he's less, I'm going to make your whole game the most annoying it's ever been, just by seeing him in the game.
Yeah, it's not like the end of the world now, which I'll take. Like, you could have some good maneuvers on the old Kelvins. LASH got a load of visual changes this update alongside this, and a couple of tweaks. They fixed like bugs where people were just getting locked in place when I believe using his one, you would just get stuck. So they fixed that and then given him some more general tweaks. LASH has been getting some ups and downs recently. Every patch, it feels like after they sussed out just how quick he was moving, it went a bit downhill for him. He's not as fast at chasing anymore.
Yeah.
Flog gets a few changes here, but mostly for the better. So tier 3 also reduces fire rate by 35%. That's pretty big. Like that's going to definitely slow down DPS output from an enemy when you flog them. And the reduction on the cooldown is down by 5 seconds from 30 to 25. So both of those buffs for flog are pretty nice. And then it's just this base spirit resist. That's going up to 15% from 8. And per boon on level up, it's 37 to 42 now for the extra HP. So all in all, for the first time in a while, LASH actually gets just like 4 nice, reasonable patches that are buffs that are going to benefit him.
Yeah, again, LASH has been on the receiving end of just nerfs after nerfs after nerfs. So the LASH mains rejoice. We're back. We're so back. McGuinness, on the other hand, speed while shooting increased from 55% to 70%. She got the same treatment as Bebop, which is cool. And this is an interesting one, honestly. Mini turrets now prioritize any heroes McGuinness is shooting at. God damn, that is so cool to see. That actually makes turrets kind of viable, maybe even on a spirit build, because it was a case where you couldn't really designate where those turrets were facing or who they were facing
doing
at.
Their own thing.
So yeah, that's a very cool one. The minor one is Heavy Barrage T1 change to rocket supply 35% slow. So very minor, but there you go. Mo and Krill's Scorn T3 now affects all damage types. That's actually massive. I think it used to only affect Spirit Power, and I can check that right now. Damn, I can't check it because it's from the previous patch. Damn it. But yeah, I think it was just spirit damage. So the fact that it now affects all damage is crazy. And I think a lot of people were saying before that T3 is complete bait, not worth getting. But I think now that it affects all damage types, this is kind of big because it affects your weapon damage too. So maybe building it to Scorn T3 is not such a bad idea anymore.
No, not that bad. Okay, paradox wise, base ammo, that's down by 5. You've gone from 45 to 50, from 45 to 40, not up by 10. That'd be a bit more egregious, but that's pretty nice. Again, like I think paradox, she's kind of easy in the sense you can pick her up very easily, understand how she works. Oh, she has a grenade. There's like a hell of AoE and denies area control. Oh, I have a snipe. Oh, I have a gun that just shoots so fast and has such a large magazine. It's taking it down by 5 bullets, pretty reasonable. And then mostly everything is centered around kinetic carbine. It's going to be reducing the projectile size, upping the cooldown, slowing down the effect of the actual weapon itself. So like kinetic carbine actually getting probably some well-deserved tweaks, not necessarily gargantuan nerfs, but tweaks that make it a little bit more of a skill shot rather than a tick tick boom. I've just rinsed your HP bar every time it's off cooldown.
Yeah. I think the huge one is actually the fact that it no longer affects channels, cast times, or things like Lash's Death Slam. That is actually a major change. It was so annoying to the point where if you got kinetic, if you got kinetic carbine whilst death slamming, like your death slam just does not come out because the cast time on it is so long anyway. You could effectively just ruin a Lash's day with one kinetic carbine. It shouldn't be anything where an ability that was on a 24-second cooldown, even less once you upgrade it, was countering ults. Like, I think it even stopped the cast time of what's it called? Dynamo's ult Singularity. It was insane. It was insane. So the other big one, right? This is another one that I've encountered, is if you're an Abrams, if you slam, it actually stops you midair. And for quite a long time. So that one's super painful. So I'm glad that got changed. I think kinetic carbine was too strong when it came to just disabling any character that had any kind of movement in their kit.
Yeah, so all in all, we take those to the paradox bank. Paradoxical swap as well, projectile size down by 10%, and also the silence duration on the tier 3 time wall, that goes down by 0.5 seconds. So just a couple nerfs, couple little tweaks, just making paradox a little bit more reasonable in terms of going toe-to-toe with some of the other heroes. Although we've also got Pocket. Now, Pocket's barrage was changed, so it's going to be respecting line of sight. It's not just going to be rinsing you around corners anymore, which is probably quite nice, dude. I think that's a reasonable addition.
It was so dumb. So in lane, as I play a lot of Pocket as well, so in lane, if you hid behind the little gravestone looking thingy in front of the Guardian, you could just hit the barrage on that wall and it would deal damage to people behind it. And I feel like that wasn't the intended case. It's still fun in the sense that if you can't, even if you can't see a character, but the barrage is hitting next to them, you're still going to get that damage. If it's round a corner and the splash can see someone around the corner, you're still going to get that damage, but you can't just throw it at a wall anymore and do damage off the back of that, because that was really silly. I also like the fact that the barrage amp effect now shows on Pocket. I think it shows for the enemy, I'm not sure, but if it does, that's an important change, specifically because a lot of times you go into a fight at least I would go into fights as Pocket with a fully 4 amp damage, which I think is 40% additional damage from all sources. And someone would try and fight you thinking that, oh, this Pocket's really low, and you'd end up doing like 200 damage per shot at level 4, and it would completely surprise people. So now the fact that it does show, and you could be like, right, Pocket is amped up right now, probably shouldn't fight him. I think that's a nice change.
No, that's good. Like, overall, that makes sense. I think any of those kind of indicators should be a little bit more global, a bit more one-to-one. The only changes where you don't really need that, I suppose, are like the change they made with Hayes, where now her voice line for going into Smoke Bomb is only isolated to her or her teammates. I think that makes sense. But something like this, where it's a visual indicator of power, then yeah, that's a good change. A couple minor camera tweaks as well, in terms of the camera moving too slowly after teleporting with cloaks. That's going to update a bit quicker, look a little bit smoother. Visually, it's not that much different, but like you can tell it feels a little bit more connected. So we take those ones. 7 gets a couple changes. 7, again, it's been ups and downs in terms of like they buff static charge, then they nerf static charge, and they change how static charge works slightly.
Yeah.
Here, stun delay reduced. It's going to be down from 4 seconds to 3.5. But Lightning Ball also gets a bit of a buff. That's up by a second, back to 5.
So that lasts a little bit longer, so you can't just stand in that anymore. And it is kind of good for area denial. I do want to go back to Pocket just very quickly. Sorry, Jacky. Yeah. Which is the Barrage T3 was changed to plus 5% amp per stack because he did get an amp per stack nerf from 10 to 8%. So that's nice in terms of doing damage, but you lost that kind of integral part of his kit, which was the lifesteal off, well, 150% damage lifesteal, I think, off his Barrage, which was cool. But I do also think that's a good change. People are probably quite upset about that one. But the fact of the matter is that he had Satchel, he had Cloak. He was so slippery. Did he also need 150% lifesteal on top of that as well? Probably not. So this is more... It's pushed him more into the realm of high risk, high reward. Instead of just low risk, high reward all the time, because you are so difficult to kill late game. And I definitely experienced this during my games where I just couldn't do whatever the hell I wanted anymore. But yeah, Lightning Ball, much better at zoning people, and static charge. The stun duration got reduced. I think that the duration it takes to actually stun someone should get reduced as well. So kind of nice.
Yeah, not bad, not bad. Vindicta, minor changes to Stake. So the base duration of it has been reduced from 2.5 seconds to 2.25. And then the tier 1 has been reduced from 1 second to 0.75. So reduction in how long you are staked for. The stakes have never been higher. Viscous, though, this is, again, real meat and potatoes. Mostly, it's a lot of just changes to Google, right? Kind of bringing down the ridiculous levels of bloat that he had when it came to bullet resist, spirit resist, the way that he was practically like unkillable when he was just living in ball. They went ahead and tried to reduce that. Like, you've slowed down how long he can be in the ball. You've slowed down how much he can just soak damage. But they've given you some benefits as well. So you deal 50% damage to bosses when in goo ball. Now you've actually had the acceleration lowered slightly, which although it means you don't move as fast, it actually would give you a bit more control over the goo ball. So that one's kind of up in arms. Maybe a bit of an indirect buff. Yeah, the stun one is most noticeable, though. Stunning him in the ball now, you do realize, like, he is just this big Oompa Loompa, like, Willy Wonka type, blueberry character who's just stuck there in a ball, and you can just rail on him because he has such a huge hitbox.
Yeah, and I think that is very important. I think also importantly, you're right, you said it as well, is that they've reduced the bullet resist from 70 to 60%, spirit resist reduced from 80 to 70%, but... most terrifyingly for Viscous mains, goo ball duration reduced from 12 to 10 seconds, and the T1 duration reduced from +6 to +5. Because it did feel like he was in that ult for ages.
He was living in ball.
Yeah.
He was living in ball.
Because you had the cooldown increase as well from 80 to 90. Because it was just a case you went into ball, next fight he's ball, he's always ball, he's never not ball.
No, like that was his role. He was ball. What do you do?
What do you do? Ball. He is just ball. So yeah, it's making him a little less... He's doing a lot of damage to us, but we have to ignore him. It's a very difficult scenario to be in. So a lot of really good changes for Viscous. I think the other stuff is mainly just like little tweaks here and there. Warden, Binding Word, so the cage. If you're not familiar with the phrasing on that one for the actual name of the ability, if you don't play a lot of Warden, no longer drains 1 stamina. I think it was kind of broken, especially in lane. You get Mystic. If you bought Mystic Reach early, you just could not deal with Binding Word. It was impossible.
Just going around putting everyone in cages, mate. He was locking everyone down. So like you got to stop the Bobby. He was out of control. So that's fine. Again, they experimented with that for about, I think it's about 3 patches we had the stamina reduction on.
Yeah.
So it's lasted, a little while there. But I guess they're not happy with overall how that's feeling and community reaction to it. Alchemical Flask, rather. You can tell it's getting late on this one.
I know.
Getting a couple changes in terms of cooldown reduction. It's going to be down from 16 to 13 seconds. And its tier 3 also further reduces the cooldown. So Alchemical Flask, you can spam that bad boy a little bit more.
Yeah.
Do like the fact as well that basically you've swapped it to his Binding Word, the thing that's physically going to lock you in place.
Yeah.
You can try escape from that, whereas Alchemical Flask is now what is going to drain stamina away from you. As its tier 2 has lost the minus 10 second cooldown, but it's been given the drain 1 stamina that Binding Word used to have. That's not that bad, because you can obviously throw it at an enemy. They have no stamina, maybe you fight from there, rather than they have no stamina, now they're also caged.
Yeah, because again, I think you don't want reduce 1 stamina. I can't do anything about that because that's a point and click ability. You would like something like drain 1 stamina, which is huge, by the way. We try to remove that from a lot of things, something that's more skill shot orientated. I have to hit this Alchemical Flask if I want a free cage. I don't just press 3 and then click on someone and the damage is done instantly. So I do like that change. Again, I think a lot of the things in this patch have just all been skill expression. And maybe that's from Shiv, because they had so much fun making him, and he is a very skill-heavy character.
Yeah.
And you look at him in game, and he's like very fun to play, very fun to learn. They want more of this nuance on a lot of the heroes they have in the game. I think that's a great way to do it. Putting a lot of the detrimental effects more on things that you have to hit. Or I have to hit this skill shot if I want to follow up on doing something else. So, yeah, very cool.
Very absolutely. I will take it again. All of these have seemed like, like we said earlier on in the show, basically, that really Shiv feels like a breath of fresh air in what was already a very fresh air filled room that is Deadlock. You've got a different take. And if they're taking inspiration from that, that's only beneficial because he's very unique in every element. I'd love more of that. We said it when we got Viscous as well, maybe. We were saying, like, wow, this guy's so different, and that's a good thing. We enjoy those. Wraith, the beloved, usually she's quite lucky. She never normally gets that many nerfs. It's mostly like weird buffs every time. So this time around, you have got 1 slight reduction. Kartrick has 0.5 per second cooldown per cast now. That's the same as Shiv's 1. Yeah, you can't just go bap, 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 bap every time they're off cooldown. But again, like playing her today, dude, it doesn't actually feel that bad. 0.5 seconds, you can still get them out pretty quickly. It's not like you've ruined the element that made it so fun with Kartrick. But it's definitely more balanced than I'm just spamming 1 every time it comes off CD. Telekinesis tier 2 as well has had its duration reduced from 0.75 to just 5 seconds. So you can get out of there a little bit quicker.
Yeah, you're not just dead.
Yeah. Which is nice. That should be a quick escape. You don't want that to be kind of stagnant and a bit annoying. You want to basically just be like, wait, juked ya, I'm gone. Whee.
Yeah, exactly. I've ulted you, it's game over. I've farmed for a little bit, it's game over. So that's nice to see. And just a quick bug fix, being able to melee and parry while stunned by Rose Telekinesis. And lastly, but not least, is Yamato's base melee damage increased by 10%. She's up in your face very often. And the most amazing change ever for Yamato mains out there. Flying Strike T3 now procs after the ability ends rather than when connecting to the target. So you have a little bit more control over that, and also it might not also ruin and mess up when you try to use your 3 that crescent slash, where it kind of doesn't go off because the T3 is sort of trying to proc at the same time.
Right, well, there you go. That's it. We got through it. That's all of the changes for the heroes.
Yeah.
It's a long one. It is a long dead air today. You had some comedy back at the start. You've had our thoughts on Shiv. There was like half an hour of Shiv glazing because he's just so fun.
He's super cool.
And then overall, the view of all the items. So, yeah, bro. Quite a long one. I think we'll wrap this one up fairly quickly for today because they've dropped another patch anyway. It's all going on.
Yeah.
But another week of Dead Air. A lot of changes for the channel overall today in terms of what we've gotten up to. Like, we've released so many different styles of content out of nowhere. Daisy's whipping out new things. We've got Deadlock news. We've got the art series. We've got her doing in-person interviews at Gamescom. That was real, by the way. Like, we are going to try and get some content going there. Maybe send her around showing people in the public, like, fake pictures of Deadlock, see if they can figure out who the characters are. Me and you dropping the regular patch notes here with Dead Air on the podcast. And the offshoot ones, like the Deadlock adjacent podcast as well. We've been having some fun with this stuff, man. We hit 100 subs today as well, Blank.
Yeah,
like, it's all been going on.
It's really good.
Haven't even got a public video on the channel, bro.
It's so silly. I think we're at like 116 or something now, which is really heartwarming. It's so cool to see 100 of you guys out there also in the channel, and I imagine a few more of you aren't quite subbed yet, but please do. It really helps out the channel when the game
if you've made it
live,
to
or you just want to keep
3
up.
hours into the podcast, then you probably. I mean, if you're this deep in, you probably should subscribe.
You really should.
Give it
really
a like.
should.
We'll have to do those at the beginning in future for the people that watch like an hour of the podcast.
A little bit of a call to action at the start, maybe.
Yeah.
And again, sorry if it's been maybe a little bit low energy towards it. It's been about a 4-hour ordeal with memory getting corrupted, and Jacky had to save that. So
it's a nightmare.
It's been the
digital interference.
The digital interference has been unreal. So again, thank you so much if you have made this point. We really do appreciate you. And again, this is why we sacrifice.
We've got to come up with the name of the episode now, dude. Is this patch in a patch, or is it digital interference, or what do we call it?
I think we call it RATFELLA.
Just RATFELLA, all caps.
RATFELLA, yeah, obviously.
New mini boss added. RATFELLA.
They can't bait them with that, but you
two exclamation marks. Yeah. Maybe we can. We'll see.
Maybe we can.
You at home will find out by reading the title when you clicked on the video, or however you ended up here illegally, if you've stumbled in through an open window. But yeah, we'll probably end it there for today. That's it for your patch notice omnibus. It's like if you're English and you've woken up late at night and there's 5 episodes of Coronation Street on back to back.
You're delirious.
That's what this is. Yeah, you're lost in the beans. The hinds have got you. Your brain's gone. That's it for me and Blank today then. Let us know what you thought of today's episode. If you made it to the end, the secret code word is, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
Go to bed.
Go to bed.
All right. We're going to go to bed. Goodbye.
See ya.